I'm a man who believed that I died 20 years ago, and I live like a man who is dead already. I have no fear whatsoever of anybody or anything.
Gary Webb. I am an investigative journalist, and in 1996 I wrote a series of stories entitled Dark Alliance, which was about CIA involvement in drug trafficking.
I knew a man who once said death smiles at us all. All a man can do is smile back.
We've both been skull and bone, the secret society.
It's so secret we can't talk about it.
What does that mean for America? The conspiracy theorists are going to go on.
I'm sure they are. I don't know. I haven't seen the rest.
Number 322.
I sad duty to report this afternoon that my friend and colleague, Tim Russert, collapsed and died early this afternoon.
I may die in this cell tonight or in the arena tomorrow. I am a slave. What possible difference can I make?
And no official of my administration, whether his rank is high or low, civilian or military, should interpret my words here tonight as an excuse to censor the news, to stifle dissent, to cover up our mistakes, or to withhold from the press and the public the facts they deserve to know.
What up, everybody? Welcome to Already Dead with myself, Austin Picard from the Underclass Podcast. Obviously, we have Jules here, the homie, on the ones and twos. He's here with me tonight because obviously we're missing one schizo bro.
Jose is late.
He says he's gonna hopefully still make it tonight, which he might still come in by the call-in portion around 45 minutes to an hour in. So hopefully that still takes place. But either way, apparently he's watching over his cat, which is allegedly popping out one of the last kittens. So hopefully that all happens safely and he can make it. But either way, it's good to see you guys. And we have on Jacob tonight from the Rise to Liberty podcast, which obviously we've all done content with him in the past, and he's one of our brothers who's frequent in as far as in the call-in portion very often. But yeah, we figured there's no one better to kind of have fill the void in a way in terms of just another like-minded individual schizo bro that wants to have a conversation about how much we despise the state, right? And so exactly, any chance we get, man. But first thing I should say is probably, well, first of all, Jacob, for anybody who's unaware of what you do, obviously, I think you should probably just introduce yourself and your show and kind of the things that you're more interested in researching and what appeals to you, if you'd like to. Go ahead, buddy.
Yeah. So, of course, my name is Jacob. Run Rise to Liberty podcast. I actually just passed my 4-year anniversary, which is fucking wild. I didn't think I was going to make it this long. But I've kind of settled into my niche, which is like a parapolitics, I guess, really just searching like deep politics, anything that seems like is actually happening, but nobody talks about is happening. Really, I tend to focus a lot on MK Ultra and mind control. That's like my bread and butter. I'm pretty sure that, if we could just reveal how everyone, how mind controlled everyone is. I mean, I hate being lied to. Most everyone does. I've never met a person that says, "Oh, I love being lied to." And so if we can show people how much they've actually been lied to, a lot of people, not everyone, but a lot of people are actually going to wake up to that. I mean, you can tell them they've been screwed over by the Fed or, lied into a war or something like that, but doesn't really do it, or at least it hasn't. But really just being lied to literally about everything. I've actually had a lot greater success at, I guess, waking people up, although that's not my main focus. My main focus of doing what I do is exposing the things that they did in the past so they can't use the same technique in the future. I can't stop it. I can't change it. But what I can do is I can give a voice to the victims who didn't make it through it. I can speak for the survivors who did make it through it, but can't speak or won't speak. And I can try to reveal how the government has screwed us over, how the state has just fucked us royally so that they can't do it in the future, or at least it makes it harder for them. So that's basically me in a nutshell.
Yeah, man. And that's like half the battle, right? Is once you wake up, then you have to relearn everything.
Right.
Right. That's
man.
Honestly, you have to remember where you were too, because then you're going to be talking to people who are not on your same journey. You know,
exactly.
Like I can't talk to certain people about certain topics because they're just not there yet.
Yeah, I'm finding that obviously I think it takes, each individual has to come to kind of like introduce themselves to these ideas on their own terms, follow their own path to that destination, and hopefully they make it there. But the critical thinking is kind of like, obviously it's at a minimum at this point, and that's by design. I mean, we've been very much conditioned to embrace this new age systematic, as far as it, to me, I think there's this level of deception that has been systematically entrenched for generations at this point. And I think that's what takes so much effort and discipline and rigorous commitment to sort of like peeling back that naive veil and the vulnerable, at least I'm always attempting to kind of prioritize my vulnerabilities and make sure that I'm attempting to manufacture these sort of defense mechanisms that I think should be very much well understood and in place in your own psychological framework. So then you can feel a little bit more like you're protected and you have at least while you're wading through this swamp land of manipulation, right? Which is so much of what the media cycle is. It's just smoke and mirrors and attempted misdirection at every turn, and to recorral us into these just these stables of consent, right? That's what it's always about, manufacturing consent.
100%.
When I look at just Liberation Day in DC, boys, like, come on, we should all be celebrating, right? Which is just the funniest thing.
The golden age of America.
Yeah, exactly. He's going to liberate America's capital, and shout out Big Balls, because without you, this never would have been possible, obviously. And I think people should realize the fact that fucking the Doge employee that has been obviously making the rounds for quite some time, and was kind of introduced to the public a few months back, and kind of the media took that sort of hilarious just direct connection to Elon and obviously ran with it at the time, and then Big Balls himself, right? It turns out was allegedly this individual who was a part of the Neuralink program prior to his employment at Doge, which I thought that in itself was hilarious, right? Because if you consider like modern Manchurians and how you could potentially put a position, an asset into place and sort of create this strategy of tension, which is just the Gladio playbook all day long, then there's much you could accomplish, especially if you're considering the sort of just the, in my opinion, there's always an attempt to set the precedent going forward for the totalitarian tiptoe, right? And I just think this is one more example, right, of Liberation Day just being another step in that totalitarian tiptoe to providing this sort of avenue to further consolidate power, right, which is always kind of the case, and circumvent state rights at the same time. And all of this while the federal government manufactures consent, increasing the centralized, sort of stranglehold.
Right.
And so it provides us with the perfect window into the self-serving nature of the state. Right.
Well, I mean, all they're doing is just executing what they want done and then just getting us to go along with it.
Exactly, dude.
or to vote for it, to pay for it, whatever it may
Oh my
be.
God.
But like,
I saw it was Monica, right? Monica Perez.
Mhm.
She posted a Wall Street Journal article about this, and she was talking about how she figured that defund the police was always actually about a national police force, right?
What?
And yeah, just as far as like
Okay.
it was another sort of, in my mind, I understand what she's trying to kind of present, as far as like this is just another kind of layer to that operation, in terms of the defund the police was in reality a way to kind of get the left uh, to sort of embrace this notion of a federal police force, right? And now the right is being very much influenced in this very similar direction, but
It's
through
wild though,
the
because we already have a federal police force, several of them.
right.
I mean,
I'm just saying, like,
even like like the Department of Education even has like a private security force.
oh, 100%. But
Like,
the problem is the circumventing the local authorities, right? So
right,
no longer will the local police, I mean, effectively the
or the sheriff.
DC Metropolitan Police were entirely overruled within the context of the hierarchy and the
Right.
power paradigm on the ground. And so I think that's the ultimate concern, is obviously the National Guard and the feds taking over the police departments, which is never a good sign, which clearly there's been an active, I think, playbook of infiltrating local police departments for how long? I mean, and
I think they can definitely get away with that in places like DC.
right.
But one big problem is there are not enough federal police officers. So, like, even if they had to go do something nationwide, they still have to pull from the pool
Mhm.
of like local law officers.
Right.
That's why a gun confiscation was never, like, a door to door was never going to be reasonable or
I think it would definitely
actually be
take,
able to be done, is because they would actually have to pull from the local law enforcement.
it would definitely have to be an outside force, like a sort of like NATO, coming in a certain way. The United
30
Nations.
million
I guess,
illegals
right?
that are promised their citizenship.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, what did they use for the Civil War? We were using like a bunch of Irish and like Germans, right? I mean, it
Right.
was yeah, it's kind of crazy how the American Revolution and the Civil War were truly fought. It's very strange how much of an international footprint there is, as far as the foreign cannon fodder, you could say, in a certain way, right? But yeah, let's honestly, I think it would be interesting to, at the very least, hear it from the president's mouth, I guess, as far as the Home Rule Act from 1973, I think it was, which it's interesting to actually read through what exactly the Home Rule Act is, where it comes from historically, how it's been utilized and implemented in the past, and then how obviously this Edward Korstein, or I don't know exactly how to pronounce Big Ball's actual name, the Doge employee, which to me, it's like, dude, this guy provided well, as far as like, to me, this article came and was in circulation like early last week, what seemed to be paving the way for what was to come, which is the Home Rule Act being deployed and implemented, right? Which, to me, that's always kind of how this goes, right? They it's the slow burn. They trot out these ideas and these concepts into the subconscious mind and introduce it to the subconscious mind of the general public, and then they are much more willing to accept the outcome. I think it's another version of kind of like, it's not quite the Delphi method, where they believe they have some sort of like, firm part to play in the outcome itself. But that definitely has I would say it's at least factored into the psychological concept of how people inevitably interpret the news cycle and these stories as they become, as they're being presented. But anyway, let's listen to this dude real quick, because it is very interesting that he goes on to then obviously threaten to take control of not only DC, but New York and Chicago, and he
Dude, that's
talks
so
about Los
wild.
Angeles as well, which is all like these are cities that the right, his base, would be firmly in agreement with, as far as like, yeah, man, fuck
Right.
the crime, like crack down, like, and to me, that's a way you manufacture consent. It falls perfectly
Right.
into your political ideological lap, and unbeknownst to you, you take the bait, and you facilitate your own oppression. This is the strategic, just in my mind, the playbook that is always recycled over time. So once you, as you mentioned earlier, once you recognize the playbook, it's the pattern recognition. It's impossible to deny. And if you're willing to be objective, you're willing to admit when you're wrong, you're willing to ask questions at every level, and question yourself, in a rigorous way, to where you're not. I'm very careful of how certain I am of anything. You know what I mean? It's because it's a very slippery slope. And
Well, the only thing I'm certain of is that I don't know anything. So,
right. Yeah, man.
Outside of that,
Truly.
everything's a guessing game.
Dude, at this point, like I said, we'll get into it because of the new Ghislaine Maxwell news and everything happening there and we'll have to talk about the movies that we were talking about privately, because my God, brother, like at this point, I'm starting to question induced amnesia, memory loss, like at a point to where I'm like, are these ideas my own? Like, you know what I'm saying? Could you be strategically targeted with EMF or ELF and at a ultra low frequency as you're asleep? You're being
what about like neuro-linguistic programming? Somebody could just give you a phone call and program you over the phone.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. And the fact of how NLP has been implemented, and we could talk about James Holmes and the Stephen Unruh story of where James was detained, and he talks about NLP specifically. He dropped neuro-linguistic programming.
Yeah, no, it happens all the time. And what's interesting, I mean, this is what like broadcaster school is they. And anytime you go to like journalism school, they teach you how to speak in that news voice, right?
Yeah.
And that's done for a very particular psychological reason, and that's why all of them speak this way, for one. But for two, it's a way to like disarm you mentally, and for them to be able to get you suggestible. And it all happens subconsciously. It's wild.
It is wild, and the idea that you're the hypnotist that programs you, right, and basically provides the set of instructions that you follow while you're in this trance, this hypnotic trance. Only the individuals who have the alleged key, right, that can break you free from the prior programming, they can retrieve the message. This was like a part of when they were attempting to utilize, obviously, various military applications for how they could have like, a hypnotized Manchurian provide. Was it red? What the fuck? Yeah. That's too funny. James Holmes was a Reddit dude. If you look at the transformation of James Holmes too, you see those pictures of him. My God, it is so very clear to me that he was programmed, man.
Yeah.
Had to have been.
That dude was in a hypnotic trance
out
by his car.
Like 10 lobotomies.
For real.
Yeah,
And by the way, the judge, during the course of the trial, he legitimately attempts to essentially just abuse his power in every way and set this unprecedented notion in place to where he gets to provide James Holmes with a truth serum. Yes, during the process, which is just like you're chemically, that's just amazing to me that they were even willing to go on the record and claim this. Although there's medications that were discovered at his residence that were never disclosed to the public, and that was obviously strategic. And I think that just knowing that he's standing out there like so many of the Mark David Chapmans of the world who are just waiting to be apprehended by the authorities. Why would he commit those shootings and just stand by as if he was? And he's described as being by the arresting officer in a fucking trance. Right.
That's
just
what he was trying to do.
Exactly, because he's done with his actual programming. He's waiting.
And there was
for
nothing
his,
else left in the script.
Yep. But get yourself into the geographical position for us to apprehend you at the moment in time. That obviously is. It's just, to me, it's fascinating stuff, though, how it works.
That was in Colorado, right?
Yeah, Aurora, Colorado, man.
Funny that takes place in the same place where Columbine is, right?
Dude,
Yeah,
that
it's
was
actually
so
not
crazy.
too far.
Not too far from Columbine.
Yeah,
Like less than 20 miles, man.
yeah, Aurora
Yeah.
is like a suburb of Denver.
How are we looking on ley lines over there? What's the energy
Dude,
ratio?
I heard that basically, oh shit, I have it on a note somewhere in my trillion notes that I have on note cards. And basically it was just the point was that around that area in Colorado near the military base there, I forget the name. It's not Loveland. I know it's not Loveland, but I forget the actual area in near Columbine where they claim it's essentially like this sort of military safe haven, right? Where basically it's like an intelligence community, and that all these intelligence assets have sort of gone there to retire, quote, retire, right? And in reality, it's really just kind of like a ground zero for some of these domestic operations and how they're greenlit, how they're controlled at the local level. That's why, what's her name? Is sort of always involved in the most notorious scandals in that county in Florida. I always forget her name, the super curly-haired lady that was connected to the Clintons all the time. And she was exposed as well as obviously being extremely corrupt. But either way, to me, it just goes to show and lends credibility to the reality of the fact that obviously there are these strategic hubs all throughout just, the U.S. domestically. Debbie Wasserman Schultz, thank you, Fire Pixie. And and yeah, it's to me that's how they facilitate these operations. I discovered a very similar pattern in the Atlanta child murders case, right, where they have like this avenue, this pipeline from Miami to Atlanta to Houston to Chicago, right? And this is the distribution network, and it goes all up and down the East and West Coast, and they have these domestic hubs throughout the Midwest and various other. Ohio, I think, is another great example of that, right?
Let's not forget that Elon Musk helps run a boring company that just released some technology that's apparently like changing the game for boring tunnels everywhere. So
wow.
Just something to keep in mind. It's unrelated.
I've been looking into underground cities for the last 2 hours before we got on the stream. So if you want to go there,
are you kidding me?
There's definitely something. There's something weird about Colorado because you have the Denver airport as well, right?
Dude.
And then obviously because of 9/11 was a giant ritual, we know that a lot of these mass shootings, these false flags, psyops, whatever, are probably in some fashion some sort of like a ritual, not on such a large scale as something as 9/11 would be, but
not everything.
You know how it is. All these groups are all into the occult. So,
Dude, there's a reason that Lawrence E. King was flying in his private plane after picking up Paul Bonacci, and they're procuring children, abducting them off the street, and picking up the director who's going to film the child porn snuff film that would later take place. And they were flying in. Well, first of all, they're in, I believe it was New Mexico they were first in, and then they would fly private to the Denver International Airport, and San Francisco was another location that they would fly in. There's another airport that was directly linked to the Epstein network, where he was flying into that airport more than any other airport, and it turns out that it has direct connections to Lynn Forrester de Rothschild, and it just, like, to me, it blew me away.
Well, she has that land she bought in California. She bought that little plot, or her uncle, someone, her father maybe, who was a race car driver, bought a plot of land in California. It's a very occultic site, dude. I think you can go there. It's in wine country.
Interesting.
But hold on. So I just saw what Gerald Hall said. He said Patterson Air Force Base is in Colorado.
Yeah, so that would make
that
sense.
sounds right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Colorado is the place, one of the places then where I think some sort of portal. Like I was looking into that city that's supposedly in the Grand Canyon that you're not allowed to go.
Right, all the
Ohio.
Egypt stuff.
Yeah, all that, which I think is which I think is Atlantean, because pre-Egyptian or pre-Kemet is Atlantis. And
Patterson
so,
Air Force Base. There's one in Colorado Springs, and there's one in motherfucking Ohio, dog. That's so crazy. But Offutt Air Force Base is in Ohio, right, as well, or Nebraska, right? And that wasn't Nebraska that was just named. I saw like a couple hours ago there was a massive pedophile bust, and not only were there over like 20 child victims that were secured and like released from this network, but there were like a significant number of adults as well that were allegedly.
Where was that?
This was in Nebraska, I believe it was. Might have been Ohio. I don't know. It's starting to all blend together at this point.
Patterson, okay, that's in Ohio. Okay. No.
Right.
So that's actually not, I mean, because we just had that huge bust down in Alabama, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so now we've got this other bust just a little far north.
This mountain supposedly, sorry to interrupt, Austin, but this guy Mike's talking about Cheyenne Mountain, supposedly one of the mountains where a fallen angel is buried underneath, just out of conspiracy lore.
Right.
And
I mean, at the very least, they have a military base, so it's like there's going to be high strangeness no matter what. Because every time you have an Air Force base or just any military base, you always have clusters of like cults and Satanists and like all sorts of crimes and everything. It just follows military bases no matter what. Because the same thing where I live, we have Hill Air Force Base, just literally like in my backyard. And then a little bit south, we have, I can't remember the name of the base, but it's out in Tooele, Utah. Mm-hmm. And dude, the size of this base, it is 800,000 square miles. Jesus. It is the size of Rhode Island. That's one military base. So, I mean, what the fuck are they doing out there?
Right.
That
is nuts.
Keep in mind, they also have one of the, I think it's 5 or 6 hottest incinerators in the world.
My God.
So they literally incinerate like medical waste and like weapons and all sorts of stuff out there. And it's like they do chemical testing and a bunch of MK Ultra stuff, I'm sure. It's for
sure.
Of course, dude. Yeah, you know what's crazy, Jules, is that you bring up these sort of underground cities, right? Like, dude, it's not only does that obviously apply to Catherine Austin Fitz, right? The woman that we played that clip, didn't we, on Already Dead, I think, where she was talking about underground cities being developed and all of these state funds being provided for this reason. And it's kind of basically a black budget operation that she was describing, but it was far more sophisticated than people, any of us would have really, I think, kind of even been able to conceptualize in a way. But what I find interesting is that I just did Dutroux Part 3 with Jose last night, right? And my God, man, like obviously whenever they were investigating the Dutroux connections to the Satanic Order of the Abrasax or Abraxas, right?
Abraxas Order.
Yeah, in Charleroi, or I think it was in Charleroi at the time. It might have been, but either way, the connection there in Belgium and the high priestess of the order, clearly there was this mine shaft that was associated to the investigation that was raided by the authorities whenever they raided the Satanic Order of Abrasax in the area, that was directly affiliated with Bernard Weinstein, the Dutroux accomplice, which was later buried alive on one of Dutroux's 7 properties.
Right. So was that connected to the castle, you think, at all? That supposed castle that he was taking all these kids out to?
I'm starting to think there were far more. Now, I'm under the impression that not only was Dutroux studying how to sort of like engineered these underground tunnel systems and beyond the dungeon that he helped as far as like that he helped create and really kind of studied the way that he would implement the architectural integrity of the structure itself, and the air ducts being specifically created and crafted to where they would not provide a sort of scent to it. Would be outside of the building directly to the point to where if the building itself, the property was raided, the dogs would not be tipped off by any sort of scent from the dungeon itself, from the actual victims, which is crazy to me. But the whole point is that basically this mine shaft that was brought up during the investigation was deliberately mentioned by the authorities as being involved with the Dutroux network, and that they were apparently taking children there. And so it turns out that, and I just found this when I was just prepping for part 3, it was an additional detail that I'd never discovered before. And clearly when they raided the satanic order of Abrasax or Abraxas in the area, they discovered these jars of blood, these human skulls, like, it was very clear and obvious. There are jars of urine as well. It was so much like the finder's warehouse. It's fucking crazy. And, but still, clearly there was a occult ritual sacrifice utilizing blood in a certain way as well. And that was all connected. But beyond that, it turns out Dutroux was utilizing this mine shaft. And according to Michelle Martin, who was his spouse for a time, that he had married for basically, I think it was his second wife, and essentially she became one of his accomplices, and she claims that she had a plan to create a literal underground city in this mine shaft where the girls could be housed.
What?
Yes, Dutroux claimed he wanted the underground city to actually be a safe place for the girls so they could be protected from the pedophile ring that had him in their service.
Pedophiles.
Wow.
Could you imagine? Imagine.
What a great guy.
Seriously. If you read about like what the victims were claiming, during as far as when they're testifying about Dutroux, like he legitimately was convincing them, he's having them write home to their families. He's like, it was so psychological as far as the manipulation involved. Not only was he utilizing the sort of, who doesn't have jars of piss in the tunnels under their house? My God. Yeah. And that's another thing with the, we'll have to pull the McMartin tunnels at some point and talk about
that too. Yeah, man. Yeah. We're going to have to do an episode.
Yeah, I've got the archaeological survey that they did. Which is an incredible document if you've never read it. Also, I actually had somebody argue with me about this one time. It was somebody saying that, Ted Gunderson was all over that. No. This is something Ted had nothing to do with.
What was it?
It was when he showed up. And so because they were doing the excavating, of course.
Oh, you're talking about McMartin?
Yeah, McMartin.
Okay, yeah.
So when they were doing the excavating, the one that the parents paid for, Ted actually showed up, which to me, I think lends credibility to him being a still active Fed.
Yeah.
Because he had to show up to see what they were doing, be able to report back to somebody. But it's just incredibly interesting if you read through that document, because I mean, they found the tunnels. So like
Dude, I read through it on the witch hunt narrative episode that I did. It's honestly, it's one of the craziest episodes I ever covered, because it was when I covered the Presidio as well, right? The Presidio scandal, which brought in Michael Aquino, of course, and Joyce Tobin and all of this just, my God, man. I mean, in the poo-poo baseball game that he's playing with these children it's just legit. The Child Development Care Center, which it's terrible, man. You're talking 3-year-olds unable to even describe their abuse, going home with being legitimately sexually assaulted and kind of recoiling it,
body, man,
dude, and like physically recoiling. The way that it's described is how the parents had to engage with their child to discover what happened to them. It's just the most disturbing thing. I'm telling you, man, there's
Yeah.
a reason that sometimes when I walk away from this, it's like I do feel like there's an emotional impact, like there's an overall toll that you that it sort of is.
So there is.
Yeah,
There
man.
is. We're all trauma bonded together.
Yeah, 100%. That is very true. And but yeah, it's to me, I just think that and by the way, it was John DeCamp. He very much described like sort of the origins of of Monarch mind control, and Project
Right.
Monarch. And that in itself just kind of like it blows my mind how much it ties back to Operation Paperclip and the Gladio networks, the post World War II, the post war Gladio rat lines and various things where there's clearly like, I believe that so much of the sexual traumatic mind control, DID, leveraging and exploiting like the multiple personality disorder and the dissociative identity disorder to their own benefit for military applications, but far more than that. And it never ends at the military application level that people would like to imagine in this sort of naive, storybook version, fairy tale reality that they think they live in. But it's just like the reality of the world itself and the power paradigm as it's structured is far more sinister. And
Right.
and I think that is the problem, is that unfortunately, and that comes off as a black pill, but it's not at all. When you're unfortunately, it's basically a a sort of, not a nation but a world under Stockholm syndrome, where we're sort of siding with our captors and unable. Right, we're defending against our own best interests at every level, and we're lashing out at the individuals who dare to try and break us free from this, this sort of
kidding.
ideological prison.
Dude, I had this conversation with I can't remember with who. It was a long time ago, but I was telling them, it's like, I don't enjoy this. Like, this isn't like, yeah, I get to hang out with my friends and come and talk to all you fine people and everything like that. That part's fun, right? But like the actual work of this and finding out like how terrible it is,
Right.
that's not fun. I don't enjoy knowing these things. I don't like, that's not what I wanted for my life,
Right.
I mean, I'm here now, so whatever, but
Exactly.
but at the same time, it's like, I don't like, I wish I was wrong. I wish the stuff was made up. I really do, but it's not. And so I'm not trying to like lie to you like everyone else does. It's like, if I'm legitimately trying to wake somebody up to something, it's because I care about them wanting to be awake. And one thing I had to come to terms with is, honestly, not everyone wants that. And honestly, I don't know if everyone needs to be. I mean, to change the world, we don't need that many people anyways. It's always the people on the fringes of society that change it anyways. So we don't need everyone. We just need enough people to change society for the better. And then all the sheep will follow, which will, save them by proxy.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's the problem, is that it's like you have to basically reject the poison pill that is collectivism, and only through pursuing this sort of individualism and the empowerment that comes with that philosophy in life, that is the only time that sort of you can become a net positive for the ultimate collective, right? It's like this, it's almost like it's very similar to the idea to where it's like you can't have open borders in a welfare state. It's like it's a self-defeating idea philosophically and in action, and its policy, just as far as being implemented at the policy level. Like, in every way, it feels like we've been convinced to of course, like, push back against what we should clearly be pursuing. And that is always within the context of how it affects us politically. It's never about the overall, just, I would say, just sort of like the core structure of society itself, which should be prioritized. It all has to do with the window dressings that are the smoke, it's the deliberate deception and the smoke and mirrors that they rely upon, and yeah. So, I mean, to me, it's when you discover the people who are strategically put into position and in these prominent roles that seem to have like these drastic effects on society at large, and only helps, push us further down that dystopian path. I mean, at every level, what are they attempting to do? Control us psychologically, manipulate
that's the very first thing. And that's honestly my biggest argument against the black pill, is because they need your fear. Like,
stay gray-pilled.
Right.
Good way to go.
Just stay anywhere to the left or to the right, depending on how you're looking at the chart. Just stay away from the black pill, though, because I'm genuinely certain that a real genuine black pill is a psyop. They want everyone hopeless, because that means you're easier to quell before you could even think of getting up a rebellion, Yeah,
but then you got white pills like Q, that are also
Q
psyops.
is a fucking clown pill.
Yeah, that are also psyops. So
trust the
plan. Do nothing.
They're throwing them at us from both angles, good and bad. So
exactly.
Have discernment, my brothers and sisters.
Yes, sir.
My children.
My children. That's what Sam calls us, dude.
I know. I love it. I love
it. Every time I fucking I show up in the StreamYard for whatever this is, it's fucking, how are my children doing? I love them so much, dude. But yeah, it's honestly, to me, man, it was very interesting to see, because as far as like knowing what Paul Benassi claims about Michael Aquino and his roles, at least being one of the most prominent in sort of running Project Monarch, but specifically he was apparently he just had these very unique set of characteristics that clearly I think lent his services to this sinister agenda that was being sadistically pursued, and finding where he ends up. It's so many layers of all of these different scandals. It's not only the Franklin scandal, it's Presidio, it's West Point, right? He's at Fort Bragg when Jeffrey McDonald.
What the fuck did he do in Vietnam? Like,
exactly.
Let's go that far back. Like, what the hell did he do over there?
It gets so crazy too, because he's obviously at one point, because it was Vietnam in the late 60s when he's becoming an expert in psychological warfare, and then he's at some point he's serving with the Green Berets. Now that makes a lot of sense if you consider Tim McVeigh and you think of all the even Randy Weaver, individuals connected to Waco. You had which I found that very interesting, that you had special forces operatives at Waco that were like, no, we were sent in to kill the survivors. And that basically, it was like they had essentially been dosed. They had been given an antidote to whatever had been sprayed, a toxin that was sprayed. Yeah, there was a nerve agent that he's killing. Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
oh my god.
So they basically made everyone just burn alive, basically, without being able to move.
Exactly. And that was
the most horrific thing I could think of. Like,
I know, man.
There's a special place in hell for those people.
That was Waco.
They did that to children too?
Yeah.
Oh,
all
yeah,
of them.
man.
Fuck.
Yeah. So when they were in that pit, they couldn't move. They were still alive. They were still awake. They didn't give him like knockout gas or something. Just gave him a nerve, and so they couldn't
Their
move.
skeletal structures were all distorted, but that didn't show like a similar. It was very interesting, and this reminded me so much of like Jonestown, because you're getting into like the, obviously the, just more of what's the name of the damn individual who was doing the autopsies at Jonestown. Either way, it doesn't matter. The point being that it just consistently comes up whenever there's a sort of op gone wrong that goes up in flames. In this, I mean,
amen to that.
Bad choice of words, but in this case, because it clearly actually legitimately did go up in flames, but at the same time, it's like that's what so many of these individuals like Colonel Bo Gritz, right, who was sent up there to negotiate as the hostage negotiator, basically with the HRT, the hostage rescue team, and everything at Ruby Ridge. And he's sitting there saying that he saw the intelligence that was on the ground there with the HRT and right, the individual feds who were clearly attempting, what did they call their Camp Vicky, that was down the hill from the Randy Weaver residence, and that in itself was psychological warfare, right? What were they doing over the loudspeaker? Hey Vicky, can you should come out for your kids
while she's fucking dead, sitting there with her brains blown out.
And they know it. They damn well knew it, dude. They shot her strategically on purpose with the baby in her hands. Lon Horiuchi.
Yeah, Fire Pixie. Don't get me started. We did one episode on that, I think, Austin. I've also done other shows talking about that.
Same shit, dude. Ruby Ridge, Waco, like all of that shit gets me hot.
Yeah, man.
And honestly, I was thinking about it the other day. Is at that time, I mean, the militia movement was gaining like crazy momentum, right? Yeah. Like there was this huge anti-government sentiment. And so they had two massive incidents counting against the Fed, right? Yeah. So they were trying like everything they possibly could to get everyone back in favor, right? 100%. And then what happens? Oklahoma. Like, and then all of a sudden it's like demonize the militia. Anyone speaking out is just crazy like these people, and
then weaponize that mindset, but position them against the terrorists, the international threat, right? The ghost that we can never actually identify, right? Like
the passport.
What is
the rubble?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But what a strategic way to sort of obviously, kind of push that momentum in the wrong direction. You know what I mean? As far as how it would affect the general public and in large part. And then 9/11 just, it confirmed and reinforced it all.
The 9/11 was just like them trying to recapture what they had under the Cold War with communism. Oh, yeah. Great the Reds or the terrorists, it's the same thing. It's the same script.
100%, man. Yeah, I'm just at this point. You see how many people Aquino was close with as well, like individuals who like Jacques Vallée as well was directly affiliated with Michael Aquino. You're talking like these leaders in the UFO community, in the New Age, right? This New Age
that
movement.
Explains so much. I mean,
exactly, man.
New Age is straight up a cult. Like
100%.
It's the worst. It's the fucking worst.
And for me, like the idea of obviously the rules of engagement and everything at Ruby Ridge, but the Green Beret connection, they were claiming that Randy had been programmed in a Manchurian Candidate program while he was a Green Beret, while he was affiliated with, that's why he actually even knew Bo Gritz, and why Bo Gritz later on said that Jonestown was an op gone wrong, blew up in their face, so they lured Congressman Leo Ryan down there, who was a thorn in the side of the intelligence community at the time. He's investigating MKUltra facilities. He's going to all of these different institutions and these prisons, and he's legitimately showing up at Langley and saying, "Show me the files," like he was that type of person, right? Which is just crazy. He's saying Patty Hearst was mind controlled, that she was a part of an operation, and that it was connected directly back to intelligence. Absolutely. And you can tie that in directly with the Phoenix Project as well, with Colston Westbrook, right, who helped secure. I mean, well, at the very least, he was a part of that Angola that black site property in damn it, why is it escaping me right
Ghana.
now? In Ghana, thank you. Yeah, and
we needed some strategically placed soldiers down there at the time. I mean, for we were looking at oil.
Oh yeah, dude. What was it?
So
Venezuela or what? What was the?
yeah, it's
That's on
bordering
the border.
Venezuela.
It's right on the border. If you look at
Yep.
that, where the People's Simple Agricultural Project was,
Right.
but it's perfect for if you're launching black ops. It's like, why was the British Black Watch in the area? Just so
kidding.
happened to be patrolling in the area at the time that the People's Temple decided to commit revolutionary mass suicide. I don't think so, man. Like, there's no way that the Green Berets are just called in. And you have Green Berets who are going on the record now, some of them remaining anonymous, who were saying that, hey, no, we were told shoot on sight.
Yep.
Right. So they said that they had people from Jonestown running up to the helicopters screaming for help. And he opened fire before the helicopter landed.
Right.
That's what they said.
Right.
And Bo Gritz said the same thing. And he said that it was wrap up some of these clandestine operations, and it would basically be tie off these loose ends. So whatever individual victims that you have from the Montreal experiments in Canada, drop them off in the remote jungle in Guyana and add another body to the pile. Like, that was it. And that makes a lot of sense to me.
What the hell were they doing down there? Because when you look into their medical facility, that was like state of the art. What the hell, dude? Over 10,000 doses of what was it? Scopolamine or
scopolamine, yeah. The devil's breath, dude.
Like, dude, they had every sort of mind control drug you could possibly think of. The place was stocked up like a military hospital, which I'm pretty sure it was.
State of the art. They said it looked like it was there long before. Right. And that essentially they said there was enough MK Ultra drugs for NLP and various methods that they would utilize there to dose
and
the entire.
They were getting checked every day,
multiple times a day too, which is crazy. And yeah, but they said that there was enough there as far as these MK Ultra drugs,
right,
that they could have dosed the entire capital city of Georgetown in Guyana.
Right.
Which is that just makes all the sense to me, especially when you know that it was a remote black site utilized to train up Angolan rebels, during this sort of Angolan civil war and all this crazy. It was regime change operations happening at the time. It's the same thing that happens with, Operation Condor in South America, and Pinochet and the Colonia Dignidad, and how they would just they utilized. It was Jonestown in Chile. I mean, what it was.
It definitely just seems like they needed a experiment to try MK Ultra out, like in a real world scenario, but they needed somewhere far away, somewhere that was not in the States, just in case everything went to shit like it did.
Dude,
so
you just brought up.
Hey, Fire Pixie, thank you for the $2 donation. Says next time, spaghetti straps, Jules.
My
we'll see what we can do there. Also, we got a link sent to us earlier in the show from a D-Trail. He said, hey, I made a fire edit. Y'all can check it out and let me know what you think. I checked it out. It does look fire. So after the edit, we watch, the weekly edit. If y'all want to check this out later in the show before we get out of here, I think it's like a minute and a half. Looks like a banger.
Oh yeah,
so
dude.
Figure we could check that out. If not, if we don't get around to it, then we can watch it after the show. But
brother,
just figured I'd throw that out there. But whenever you wanted me to bring that up, it's at the top of the hour almost.
Oh, you're right. Thank you, brother. I was not at all paying attention.
Let you know before we start on another tangent.
Hey, I'm just here for the ride, dude.
I appreciate you, honestly, because I haven't talked about one single thing I prepped to discuss, which is hilarious.
I was going to mention that as well, so maybe we could do that during the call-ins and whatnot.
That sounds good, brother.
I got some stuff pulled up.
Hell yeah, and honestly, let me start around because Jacob just brought up scopolamine, dude. Oh my God! Like there's a very interesting connection, and that at the very least that could kind of like kind of segue us into the Mexican supermodel, right, story, which is very interesting. It's very, as far as how that connects to scopolamine, this kind of blink twice plot line of induced amnesia, and yeah, it would be an interesting conversation and we'll see where it goes from there, because obviously there's much more that, for example, Ghislaine allegedly being given work release program. I still have to find out if that's
this is
legit.
a conspiracy happening right in front of our fucking faces.
That's what I'm saying, man.
But they don't exist.
Uh-huh. All right, Jules, whenever you're ready, brother, just bring it up.
Man. Yeah, I'll go ahead and pull that up.
Yeah, this is a pretty cool edit. I spent some
they always are.
Thank you. But
Video file.
you guys should like it for sure. And
Yeah,
you know what? I kind of agreed with Jose on this, that, you know, I definitely want to keep for Tim, want to keep Jolyon, keep those post-mortem. And
I love that idea, honestly, man. That's why I haven't changed it.
Right.
I've just been putting it in the timestamps as post-mortem call-in portion every time.
But because those are his, I do have some options. I'll talk to you guys about it later, but do have some options in case we want to do whatever, because yeah, it was his spot first. So
sounds good, buddy. Sounds good. All right, guys, we're gonna take the intermission real quick, play the fire edit. We'll be back to drop some truth bombs and get the hell out of here. Take some calls too. Hopefully, people in the chat, in the private. Maybe somebody wants to pop in. Bobo, Krabs, your mom, Shy One, all the homies. All right, nothing but love. You can pull it up whenever.
Big club, and you ain't in it. You and I are not in the big club.
So much misdirection happening, ranging the spectrum politically at this very moment, that we have to be cautious. You know, as we always kind of urge the audience, just remain skeptical at all times. And I think that we all agree with that as far as the PSYOP season is concerned, right? And the year of the PSYOP, right? And I mean, when you have all these individuals who are coming out, and then Dershowitz can't shut his mouth. Like, my God, dude, why is he telling Glenn Beck that Epstein was like, he's certainly attempting to confirm that Epstein is not a Mossad agent. He wasn't a pedophile because he liked 16-year-olds. And that
it's a goddamn pedophile to me, doggy.
They're so desperate that you're seeing even this ridiculous UFO psyop being attached to the Epstein scandal, right? I mean,
is that even really anyone even buying that? Like, I don't think this feels. Not. This reminds me of like when they were doing the alien shit during COVID, and it was like, I don't fucking care. Like, I completely, I keep seeing it and going, and then just like, whatever. Like, this doesn't even register into my like news cycle brain. Like, I'm just like, who fucking cares? Like, shut the fuck up. Like, no, they're not. Like, fuck off.
Hell yeah, boys. That was legit.
Another banger, dude.
Thank you.
Honestly. Yeah, that was beautiful. Now, that really does kind of perfectly segue us into a little bit more of the mind manipulation conversation, I would say. But at the same time, Jules, if anybody does want to pop in and have a conversation with us,
guys,
go right ahead, man.
Let me know on the back end.
Oh, and by the way, it was Thorazine is what they had at Jonestown.
Yep.
They had
Absolutely.
10,000 injectable doses and 1,000 tablets in a size normally given for severe neuropsychiatric conditions. The drug acts at all levels of the central nervous system.
Yeah.
Whoa.
How ridiculous.
Get out of here, dude.
For real. Dude, I'm telling you. And beyond, obviously, the connections with Richard Dwyer and the CIA footprint that is so very obviously in at Jonestown, it's just fascinating to me how much of the mind control drugs were actually, I mean, just Lawrence Layton himself, clearly, I think.
Sorry.
No, you're good, buddy. Is your mom trying to come on?
Yeah, I should type in the chat and not talk over you. My bad.
You're good, buddy. No worries at all. Sounds
also
good.
I had posted the link on my Twitter and in the Rumble chats. Because YouTube will not let me post it. I'm not gonna. You have to do it. It's all fucky.
Yeah.
And I'm not fucking with
YouTube,
that right now.
anyways.
So, here we go. YouTube guys, if y'all want to come on, got a few people backstage right now, but most of them probably won't come up. Your mom, get your ass up here. Talk about Natasha Bedingfield or whoever that model is.
Come on, it's just like we're hanging. Come on, get up.
He knows.
Get up here.
Go. No, your mom's awesome. Honestly, when I met him at Bro Grove, it was. I'm glad I got to meet him. I honestly wanted to spend a little more time with him, but I didn't get to see him for the rest of the time. Honestly, after I met him the first time, but it was pretty busy. It was a lot of fun going there. I wish you guys could have made it. Honestly, next time, Jules, you got to try and make it, dude, for real. But
I don't know. It would be pretty cool to eventually at some point see Already Dead live.
That would be cool, and I would definitely be able to make that since
Well, you would have to. You have no choice.
Yes, I know.
No, that would be awesome. Honestly, I had one of the homies that client number 9 or whatever whatever he puts his name as that comes on and talks to us and usually drops some bombs. Comes correct with some legitimate information. He kind of pitched the idea that we should try and do some sort of at least something similar as far as just a more community driven as far as a live event, because honestly I do think there's something to that, and just the idea that so many of us, we started this to begin with because we were so desperate to find like-minded individuals we could have these objective and open-minded conversations with, that it's like that to me, it provided me with hope, but it inspired me and gave me fuel moving forward. It was like, my God, I felt like, as it sort of just reinforced and reconfirmed the idea that we're heading in the right direction. I think what we're doing is pursuing something worthwhile. And I just think there's something beautiful about, this, at least the path that we seem to be pursuing at this moment. And the in my mind, just the willingness, to kind of come to terms with certain things and just realize that in sort of pursuing your own self-improvement, you can kind of lift, each other up and kind of have this sort of law of abundance type of dynamic that plays out in a way that sort of only helps everyone involved. And yet you're collaborating, but you're bringing the best out of each other. And it's like something that I think is just, it's been the most beautiful, just concept that I kind of stumbled upon. It was never going into this. Was it kind of like a conscious priority that I was focused on. It just sort of all happened because I think when your heart's in the right place and you have good intentions, and you know how to at the very least, you can kind of read people for who they might potentially be, and if they sort of are acting in good faith, right? Like this, it's something you have to work on. I think some people are naturally better at it than others, right?
True.
Just level of perception, because so many people are just kind of wandering through life. I mean, that's just becoming more and more obvious to me as I become as I get older. But your mom is in the chat. What's up, dog? Your mom's joining the show.
Good evening.
Dude, Jeff Anderson just dropped a legitimate idea in the chat here. Austin building up to the big announcement of Already Dead buying a compound in Guyana.
No.
Let's go make the People's Temple great again, guys. We're gonna rehab the image of Guyana and Johnstown, and we're gonna start our own compound, right? Doesn't that sound great?
There's another podcast out there that took a really great name, and I kind of want to take it back from them because I don't think they deserve it. And it's the Cult of the Curious, because I don't think they deserve that name. I think it belongs in a lot better home, like here or amongst any of like your guys' shows or anywhere, because you guys are actually curious. Anyways, I'm taking up your mom's time.
We buy land in Guyana and call it the Cult of the Curious.
Ooh, that's not bad. That's not bad. We'll have to workshop the
robes come first.
For real. We don't
only
need
spaghetti
state
straps.
of the art.
Jules is only allowed if he wears spaghetti straps, though.
Oh my God, Jules will be the gimp that we have in the tunnel system. Oh shit!
Water's free for everyone. That's how we get everybody in. Just to get free water.
Wow.
I'm gonna say some Mad Max type shit. How long have I been muted? I don't
know. I just now noticed. I don't think that it's been very long, but that's so funny, dude. Valley of Men. Let's hope it's not just men, but yeah, that's hilarious. My God. But yeah, I don't know. What do you got? Your mom? You got anything pressing that you want to talk about?
I mean, you brought up some really good shit about PragerU in the pre-chat. I don't want to take up too much time because there's stuff that is actually important that's going on. But you also mentioned the most recent model, like spurging out about pedophiles and then disappearing. And I just wanted to tell everybody about this woman, Natasha Jate. She was an Argentinian model who was found dead of a cocaine and alcohol overdose in 2019 after going on an Argentinian talk show and connecting the Pope to a child trafficking ring through this major dude. And Jules, if you can look in the back private chat, I lost all my links when I had to restart. If you could just bring that up real quick. So like this dude, something Vera, he was like the head of Argentina's like trafficking vice squad thing. So like she said that he was a pedophile, and she knew that like basically these FIFA dudes were going around and like raping small boys for like soccer shoes in like poor towns and shit. And he's just a total piece of shit, dude. And he connects to the fucking Pope. I was trying
What's
to
the name of the girl?
Natasha Jate. She kind of has
her last name.
Jaitt, and it's Natasha spelled Natacha. And she was an Argentinian model who died in 2018. She went on the talk show in 2018, and she called out a lot of people, bro. And it was like a big show. It's like going on Oprah and like outing the Pope. Like Argentinians were it was like a big scandal back in the day. And then soon after, she was found dead of a drug overdose, which is a convenient eyes wide
there are
show.
many of those. I'm beginning to realize these kind of not only are there sort of convenient suicides that are taking place around many of these scandals, especially during the investigation. Like if you look at when Operation Othello was being conducted, where they were sort of running the surveillance, this secret surveillance investigation on Dutroux, which was entirely doomed to fail from the start because you had members of the gendarmes and local authorities who were all compromised and you know, as far as corrupted in the context of being involved directly with the network. There were members of the gendarmes and the local authorities who came forward claiming that Dutroux himself personally attempted to recruit them to help with not only police protection but with the abductions during the right. So basically, they would have police protection during the abductions of the children, and this was there. Man, they were stealing cars. He had like 7 properties, but he had multiple garages, and you had witnesses come forward who had properties across from one of his garages, came forward and effectively blew the whistle on various vehicles that were attached back to this Dutroux property in the garage itself, which later on, there's like a motorcycle that was involved in the assassination of Andre Kool's, this socialist political leader in Belgium. And there was an assassination in like 91, and he gets murdered out front of his girlfriend's apartment. It's so strange. His girlfriend, I think, inevitably is convicted. It's like complete and total nonsense.
Bro,
And,
tell him about the fucking dude who tried to steal the guy's car and fucking he tracked him down and raped him.
Dude, oh my God, it is crazy. Yeah, man. Like it's not the guy
it's a dominance thing. It's not even a sexual thing.
For real. And I think that was like
Take my car.
Exactly.
But I'm pretty sure he stole someone's car, and then they came and got it back after they found where
that's
it
what
was.
happened. Yeah,
And then Dutroux steals it again and rapes them. It's like the craziest story. But yeah, it's fascinating how much, obviously it's not funny, but it is fucking like it's extraordinary. And the reason that we'd have to laugh is because of how like sadistic the abuse truly is.
Right.
Yeah. In context of the network and the abuse that was kind of conducted through that process. This is like, very lighthearted in terms of the actual detailed description of much of the abuse that truly took place, which I know that sounds terrible. But when Dutroux in '83 is raping a 58-year-old woman with 2 other accomplices and then shoving a razor blade in her vagina, I mean, it's like, and this is just like normal. That's normal, and especially when you realize you read through the X dossier, you find out what truly happened to these poor girls and many of the victims, and that in itself isn't even scratching the surface, man. And it's so very often that technique came up as well, which is shocking. And it was not only Dutroux who was sort of utilizing that strange method of carving up, the obviously. Yeah, it's just it's disgusting, but
dude, how do you and we all know, well, like obviously you're a deep researcher, so you know about this shit, and then like you have peripheral people like myself that are aware of it, and then you have these ADL fucks that go work for fucking Israel in the late 60s and then start like mass media companies that are now going to take over the fucking education system, like PragerU.
Oh my God. For real, dude. And that is such a crazy story, especially when you, as far as just like, you're finding out that obviously there's this announcement that just was made that allegedly the White House is partnering with PragerU. And this is clearly, this PragerU is an education company that's already been making this content that's artificially intelligent driven and it's basically already launched the series of education programs during the Trump administration that were all sort of driven by AI, and then apparently the Trump administration is now considering utilizing PragerU as a substitute for PBS, right? The public broadcasting system, which obviously we all know. If you're CBS, PBS, MSNBC, I mean, every single one of the sort of even just the 3-letter media empires, they very clearly represent, in my mind, the 3-letter agencies, right? It's basically they are the voice box for the intelligence apparatus, and that's why NBC, ABC, and PBS have so very often been utilized as the voice box for the permanent establishment, and so the White House partnering with PragerU makes all the sense in the world, especially if you remember the fact that not only was like Candace Owens tied back to PragerU in a certain way, there was also the direct connection to Kash Patel's girlfriend, right? Who Alex Wilkins is seems as if she's some sort of Mossad agent, right?
And worked for the fucking PR company, right? That was Mossad. That was doing publicity for them, right?
Yeah, it was Unit 8200, right, which is all directly connected in with Mossad and the IDF applications to what they would utilize these sort of. But to me,
all my friends on 4chan, that's who I'm talking to. I'm literally talking 8200 bots all day.
That's so funny.
Mega Hail Hitler.
For real, dude. 100%. But she herself goes on with Megyn Kelly and like denies being a Mossad agent, right? And says that she claims she wasn't running a honeypot, and she was not sent as a honeypot by Israeli intelligence to sway her powerful boyfriend's decision inside the FBI.
You would never
now I believe her. Now I believe her that she said it.
Yeah,
for real,
he
dude.
totally just divorced her he divorced her wife, and then a fucking beautiful 29-year-old just fucking falls into his lap. Yeah, right, dude. Happens to be the director of the FBI.
Exactly. That's what it's so crazy though when you begin to realize, like, well, first of all, the Telecommunications Act, right, of 1996 is what it reminds me of in a certain way, as far as all these media mergers that are happening. And there was like this I think it was a couple months ago. I can't remember now, but it wasn't very long ago, but it was still long enough that it has been covered and kind of came and went in a certain, as all of these stories do, as far as the media cycle and how kind of, it's just very short-lived in terms of the prioritization of these stories, and who even it's impossible at this rate. But anyway, the point being that there was this article, I think it was at the Atlantic something, where they ran like Larry Ellison, Trump's new media mogul, something to that effect. And it was basically this whole sort of playbook that was being utilized by the current administration, and that Larry as being sort of a tool. Now, their framework of it is that obviously, Trump and his administration is at the head of this, and they're leveraging Ellison and this media mogul, partnership to their own advantage. I think it's different than that. I think it's much more likely that Larry Ellison's far more powerful than a Donald Trump, and that he's clearly just utilizing the current administration as a tool to sew himself into the current structured paradigm in the media apparatus, to then gain this very much what inevitably becomes an ultimately a monopoly, a media monopoly in certain ways. So that's what it reminds me of more than anything is the Telecommunications Act, and and that was signed by Clinton in '96, right? And it's super crazy when you see what this did, really, because it greenlit a government-backed corporate takeover of an entire industry, while it paved the way to this state-sponsored media monopoly, right? Yeah, JD Vance will save us, and he and Elon Musk are going to collaborate. They're going to come and save us.
But them and Peter Thiel.
Exactly. Yeah. Don't
they're
worry.
all such good boys.
Dude, did you know that Palantir comes from fucking Lord of the Rings?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
man.
crazy, dude.
The Seeing Stone.
They're the orbs that get corrupted.
The orbs, yeah, dude. Fucking
that get corrupted.
Crazy symbolism there, man. Yeah.
It's the Seeing Stone, and like it's how they would communicate with the all-seeing eye, right? In a way, and
right.
and that just to me.
And then the power was abused.
Of course, which is symbolic in more ways than one, but yeah, this is nothing new. And I think this is just kind of the modern rendition of the Telecommunications Act in a certain way. You're just seeing these major media mergers take place, like Skydance Media ran, and apparently, basically, there was a partnership where Larry Ellison financed his son, David Ellison, who runs Skydance Media, this company that just held this major merger with Paramount Global and created a new media partnership in an entity called Paramount and Skydance Corporation. And this merger is combining the resources and expertise of these obviously these major organizations in the media and entertainment industry. And it's interesting because this led to, obviously you had the Stephen Colbert show and get canceled, and there was all this sort of political fallout, and I think that was a misrepresentation in every way, and falsely represented to the public for managing and manipulating perception, of course, as far as in terms of this partnership. And but then you come to find out that once this partnership is confirmed, there's then obviously what just was announced was this major deal between Paramount and the UFC, that they just struck this major deal, which I thought was interesting. It was the 11th, and that it was a deal worth $7.7 billion, right? Just because of, obviously, we've been discussing gematria and the implications of these, the esoteric implications of these numbers, right? It is interesting, to say the least, but still doesn't necessarily mean anything. It's just interesting. But I will say that it's a major deal, and when you're considering the implications of how many different things fall under the Paramount umbrella with Skydance, it definitely seems as if there's at the very least there's media manipulation afoot, and we should all be very skeptical. But the White House replacing PBS with PragerU is another. I think that's a way more of a smoking gun as far as the agenda is concerned, because obviously you're going to have these major media partnerships happen frequently. But the fact of the matter is, like, it's kind of like eliminating the pay-per-view model of what the UFC once obviously utilized, and so they will now become like basically, if you have a Paramount Plus subscription, then you will have, I think there are 2 different tiers, and if you have the more expensive tier for like $12 something a month, then you can access the UFC cards now, right?
What is the anti-Semitic tier? Which tier is the anti-Semitic one? Because that's the one I want.
I'm telling you, man,
tier.
It's so crazy because there's definitely. Did you see what's her name that just came out? Janine Pirot, or what's her name? Yeah. She comes out, and she's the attorney for DC, right? And she's talking about anti-Semitism being the problem, and she was discussing how they were considering giving who's the individual? What's his name? Elias? What's his name again? The guy who committed the assassinations of the Jewish diplomats in DC, right outside that. What was his name? Elias Rodriguez or something. I'm trying to remember now, but either way, I had it pulled up because it was, let me find it. Anti-Semitism is the problem. U.S. prosecutors consider death penalty. Yeah, here we go. So basically what they were claiming is that they consider death penalty for alleged killer of Israeli embassy staffers. And Piros, she continues to explain how, this individual, Elias Rodriguez, yeah, I was right. Okay, so he's the alleged killer of the 2 Israeli embassy staffers. And it turns out that they're legitimately considering giving him the death sentence, which is, I mean, at the very least, yeah. I mean, except for the fact that the only reason that they're considering doing this is because he killed 2 Jewish staffers, right? Basically, and
I mean, instead of passing
I'm just
all
talking
of these
about the death sentence in general.
Yeah.
Instead of passing all these laws and just like constantly just like yapping at people, like, couldn't they just try being less hateable?
Yeah, no shit, huh?
I mean,
yeah. How about you stop genociding people?
Right.
How about you stop being so hateful, boy?
Did you guys see that Grok came out and finally called it a genocide?
Yeah, dude, he did, and he got temporarily suspended, right? And
Grok got suspended.
He got
Again.
suspended again, man. He's talking to Jake Shields about how Israel's committing a genocide, and then all of a sudden he gets suspended.
Fuck, man. That's funny.
I thought that was too
That's
funny,
funny, man.
For real.
Is it still okay to ask about the CDC on Grok, or is that driving
It is
people to
another
shoot
show.
buildings?
That is such a crazy story, the CDC shooting.
Here,
Like,
I can pull that
honestly.
up if y'all want me to.
Well, honestly, we might as well pull that up and
Then we'll
then
get
I'll,
somebody else in here.
Yeah,
Unless,
that sounds good, buddy.
I don't know if anyone else is wanting to come up, so let me pull this up.
DeKalb County police officer now confirmed shot and killed, responding to today's active shooter scene in Atlanta. Investigators now say
This
shots
is it,
were
right?
first reported from a nearby CVS near Emory
Yeah.
University. Chilling video here, those officers moving in to take down that suspect as that gun battle unfolded. Listen. Atlanta police reporting tonight that the suspect was killed. Though the
Who
shooting
is the
started near
suspect?
Emory's campus today, that may not have been the intended target.
Dude,
Who was the suspect?
Exactly. So at first, they kind of attempted to not reveal the suspect's name for at least a certain amount of time, and then it came out that he was identified as Patrick Joseph White. He's a 30-year-old man who opened fire outside the CDC headquarters, obviously, but he apparently was attempting to get through security, and then when he was rejected and sort of like removed in a certain way, or at least decided against that strategy, he decided to go to the nearby CVS or Walgreens, what was it? I think it was a CVS. And then there were workers there that just kind of like all went and collectively hid. But first of all, they just claimed that they heard like a lot of smashing things, shelves being thrown around and upended, and then basically they started to hear shots being fired, and they all just hid. But apparently he wasn't looking for any individuals in the store. That wasn't his concern. He was targeting the CDC, and so he is aiming at windows of the CDC building, apparently. And what they claim is that so he opens fire, but this results in the death of a police officer who was like 33 years old, I believe, and so this is interesting as well.
How old
because
was
he was 33, buddy. And I know, and the perpetrator was 30, so there you go, 333 instantly. But at the same time, it's strange because obviously not only is this happening near the Emory University and right out in front of the CDC, I think it's more interesting that that what this individual claimed happened to him, right? Because he said that he believed the vaccine made him, the COVID vaccine specifically made him suicidal, which that was interesting to me. And especially considering all of this happened at a very convenient moment for Big Pharma. All right. And especially if you want to have a good publicity in the subconscious minds of the general public in terms of the CDC as an organization specifically, then you could utilize a sort of event such as this for public relations purposes only, right? And Jose, you're the nerd, bro. As far as if you can actually get the lore accurate in terms of the Lord of the Rings references made by Peter Thiel and the likes of Peter Thiel, go fuck yourself, dude. You're the nerd, man. There's no way. But anyway, that Jose's in the chat talking shit, boys. But yeah, so
was he black?
Apparently we got the lore wrong on the Palantir seeing stones. I thought they were seeing stones. I don't fucking know. We looked it up and brought it to the table at one point in the past on the show. I remember that. But still, this guy it's very strange to me what he claims he believes in terms of the COVID-19 vaccine, because once again, it falls perfectly in place with not only his father's telling the media that he claimed the COVID vaccine made him suicidal, obviously, but it was worse than that. He's going around telling every person that he could talk to his personal feelings about the COVID vaccine. But you're seeing this major fallout, which I found very interesting in terms of the mRNA funding, right? Vaccine funding. And I had mentioned that RFK Jr., he just can't, of course, he cancels this $500 million funding in mRNA vaccine research. And he makes this statement about hidden incentives that corrupt medical judgment. And it was very interesting. I thought it was well worth it. Actually, I brought it to the table. We'll play it in a moment because I think it's important, to realize that more than 36,000 doctors had their Medicare reimbursements altered based upon these childhood vaccine numbers, which is so fucking distorted. And if you're imagining considering taking a doctor's medical advice and they're being, financially incentivized to provide you with shots that will not help your overall health. Clearly, that is the issue that we're facing here. That I think the vast majority of people are unwilling to, or they've already addressed this, and they're like-minded in terms of it should at the very least be an individual decision. You should be provided with as much information as possible, and you should understand how the clinical trials are conducted in a very disadvantaged. Now, I'm good.
Oh, he went
Okay.
all Stephen Hawking.
Yeah, you're cutting out for a second. Hey, Krabs wants to ask a question. I was gonna just bring him up with your mom on here since it'd only be us up here. I think that's the only person who wants to come up.
Sounds good, buddy. Bring him up, and I'll play this real quick because it is interesting. And that there was a shooting at a military base in Georgia as well. In Fort Stewart, there was a shooting in Georgia around the same time as this CDC shooting at Emory College, which to me, that's interesting timing, right? And not exactly, there's nothing really seemingly on the surface that points to any sort of correlation there, but it's still interesting. Well, then get your ass in here, doc. No, we'll probably wrap it up in the next 15 or so minutes anyway. Just shoot the shit a little bit more, but I will say that seeing this strange partnership in the PragerU substitute for PBS, and then seeing the sort of CDC shooting take place, and understanding, I think one, the shooter's motive matters, obviously the COVID vaccine, but then you have this media spin which directly benefits the CDC. And obviously, this paints COVID vaccine skeptics as a potential dangerous threat, which I think is not in any way outside of the realm of what the establishment would hope to strategically achieve, right?
Right. Any kind of dissident, they'll try to
and further isolate us, as well, right? And demonize. 100%, and demonize us in the minds of the general public just because you have the audacity to reject the COVID vaccine. Now you might as well have shot up the CDC. These are always being subconsciously laid as far as like these unfortunate traps. But the only final point,
same thing they did with the militia in the 90s.
Oh yeah, exactly, dude.
Yeah,
exactly.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, you're good. Krabs, you got anything you want to talk about, buddy?
A little bit of a mind game. I don't know. Just a question, like kind of jumping off of where me and Jacob left off last week, and kind of seeing a bunch of the whole Nick Fluente shit popping up, and I'm like, it's like the jig is up in a sense with Jews or Israel or whatever in mainstream, or that's what's popular, or like your Candace Owen. It's safe, unsafe, or however you want to phrase it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that just leads me to believe, like, if that's the case, what's going to be the PR move or the brand change or the it is like, all right, first, I guess you got to answer yes or no. Is Israel the big bad? And that can be debated back and forth. I kind of lean on their more middle management, whatever the upper echelons are. The fuck if I know. But they've played a big role for a long time or whatever. But it seems or like it ain't like this is their first fucking rodeo through a bad PR storm. You know what I mean? And what's going to be the pivot point or whatever? Like this is done. It seems like it's in the common zeitgeist at the break table or whatever. Like it's not really like, oh, you can't say that about Israel much anymore. It's like, oh, okay. Like those opinions are now kind of the silent opinions rather than
they genocided the entire population of German Jews because the real Jews know that these fake Khazarian Jews aren't Jews. So like perhaps the idea is to build the anti-Semitism to justify the draconian crackdown, you know, like
that's something that's a thought I've had as well.
Buddy, what have I been preaching? Anti-Semitism as the justification. How many times have I been saying it's been a fucking mantra on this show? I don't know how you know, it's like I'm just like, if you're picking the low-hanging fruit that is Israel in this very moment, it's being laid there as a trap. It's not, you don't even have to pick the fruit. It's being presented to you on a silver platter. There's a reason for that. I'm never going to just once again become naive enough to take the sort of face value interpretation of how these things play out on the world stage, because at every level we know this is far more sophisticated. We are intended to believe that, oh my God, look at how sloppy they are. They can't even implement their own psyops while they subsequently or simultaneously accomplish every last goal they have in mind to achieve. And we're sitting there, acting as if we disrupted the flow of the process of the totalitarian agenda.
All of this was planned way far before we were even like a glimmer in our parents' eye.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's more true than it isn't. I mean, just as a broad, that is. So, like I said, what
even Hunter Biden believes.
So,
bro,
what in history? What in history?
Crabs, listen to me, dog. God, crabs, you saw it. No, just play. So, dog, you got to listen to this, because even Hunter Biden doesn't believe that Epstein killed himself. You know what I'm saying? Like we're at a point where we crossed the Rubicon long ago. You know what I mean? Like we are being led by the nose at every level. And it's all about, like, if we're considering who's the Fed, Fuentes or Carlson, they are they have so little to do with my life and my pursuit of ideas and my intellectual fortitude that I am so insulated from any effect that they might have on my life. The only reason that I even know them is because I might potentially, at the very least, consider speaking on the effect that they're having in just as far as in the conscious mind of the average person who is actually still like kind of, affected by the clear and obvious propaganda streaming out of these individual assets in the alternative media landscape, wherever and it's always very interesting how they are the convenient ones at odds, right? Who are then sort of building each other up in this false framework where we're forced to choose a side. And in reality, it's like, dude, that is the deceptive tactic playing out.
That, not to cut you off, but no, that was, I don't like bringing up who I brought, like gossip talk or what, like that is the new mainstream news, whatever the fuck that is. I mean, yeah, I get that. I guess why. What now I have two different questions, but one, I'll stick to what my original was. Is one, what at history, like the point Jacob made, this has been planned out for so long or whatever, or blah blah blah. Do you think, or do you speculate that is there any good references we can go back and look at? And everybody's here because of OKC or whatever has led us to this room or chat or live stream. like, we need to start thinking in that like, all right, what can we look? Where did they pivot in the past to make it okay? And I don't know, fucking spot it, point it out, get ahead of the curve, if that's even fucking possible. I don't know.
Dude, I personally still think the Protocols of the Learned Elders of Zion is a great place to start in terms of at least the conceptual idea. I'm not claiming that it's a legitimate, I'm not saying that it isn't the most anti-Semitic document in text that's ever been, presented.
It's a convenient bad guy list. Not saying that Bond villains don't. I mean, it's apparent fucking Bond
Dude,
villains
who found it?
nowadays.
Who
But
fucking found the document? It was a Dulles brother. Like, Jesus Christ, dude. Is that on the nose or what?
I know. But it's
from the desk of Alan Dole.
Basically, but this is it's another, I think. By the way, didn't you see how hilarious the that video was of Hunter Biden claiming that Epstein obviously didn't kill him? So I thought that was the funniest thing ever, right? With his crack energy, he's so obviously
that
making
whole interview was wild.
It was wild.
Are you talking about the No Gas, No Brakes, or Channel 5 or whatever? Fucking, I haven't.
Yeah.
Super
Yeah,
fucking.
okay.
I try real hard not to just. I have said it before. I love propaganda, so I got to take measures not to just jump in with both feet on shit like that. But I know I'll just eat the fuck up.
No, there were just a few clips from it that I thought were absolutely, at the very least, extraordinarily entertaining. And of course, I mean, Hunter Biden himself, he really walks us through a seminar of how to cook crack as well, which is one of the funniest clips you could ever watch, honestly. But yeah, I don't know. Considering the what I will say though, just because I didn't want to finish my point that I was making about the CDC and the convenient timing of all of this happening while the defunding of the mRNA vaccines is taking place, and RFK Jr. is being kind of like targeted and in this sort of like strategic. Obviously, I clearly believe that he's compromised, but I do think that he's disrupted the status quo in terms of big pharma in certain ways. And so just because you're compromising a sexual blackmail operation doesn't mean that necessarily the handlers of your sexual blackmail are entirely, let's just say, their fortune is directly connected to big pharma. I'm not necessarily certain that's the case, right? And so I am under the impression that he's having some sort of effect. Now, clearly, he's still pitching MMR vaccines, which obviously in my mind cause childhood autism rates to increase and things of that nature. But that's just a point that I was kind of, yeah. Either way, it's still what's most important to me is that you're clearly seeing this sort of RFK Jr. being directly responsible in terms of the media coverage of all of this. They're saying for this sort of villainization of the CDC's workforce. So they're blaming him and the Trump administration for the shooting taking place at the CDC, which I thought was hilarious. And so basically you had officials within the CDC who were claiming that through his continuous lies about science and vaccine safety, fueled a climate of hostility and mistrust. And of course, these are, political enemies of the current administration who are very upset with the defunding of the certain aspects of the CDC and how it's been referenced by RFK Jr. specifically. And then you have this mainstream media attempted prioritization of an RFK Jr. takedown in a certain way. Due to these like significant budget cuts, but also the lack of funding for, like I said, the mRNA specifically. But in my mind, I think it's more than that because again, it's you're seeing like these. There's an independent article that was published that said doctors decry RFK Jr.'s decision to slash mRNA vaccine grants, and the quote was, "Our nation will pay in lives." And when I read through it, it just describes like the most ridiculous, character assassinations of RFK Jr. And it's all, none of it has to actually, none of it's grappling with, right, the downside of RFK Jr. in any sort of objective way. But yeah, I did think that what he exposed just recently I think it's really important for people who are still under the false impression that and misconception that they can sort of trust, just the public health industry at this moment in time. Like they're very much, I think they're pursuing an agenda that will only run counter to your actual overall, just in terms of the general public and our obvious current phenomena of bad health that we're all obviously experiencing. It's not just the poisoning of our food supply, right? And it's clearly the vaccine schedules, obviously. But watch this real quick. It's not very long, but what he had to say I thought was very important because it does expose the fact that you can't just listen to your doctor. Now, obviously, this audience is well aware of that fact, but many people I know personally are still kind of in that trance, right? They run to the doctor at every opportunity, and they sort of believe it's some that there's a solution for every problem, and that just as much applies to the sort of social anxiety aspect of the current generation and how they're sort of mismanaging their we're all plagued with anxieties, right? In different ways, but yeah, I think the how it's sort of being, again, it's being coddled in this current environment, and that is something that I'm very opposed to. And at every level, they're so willing and open to prescribe benzodiazepine or right, Xanax, Valium, Klonopin, whatever the case may be, and I believe that really kind of it harms your inhibitions. Like it at the very least, I personally from abusing those substances, I know how it affects you, and I think that one thing that certainly happened with me, man, I became like a kleptomaniac. I did not, it didn't give me provide a Band-Aid for my over emotional state of mind. I became more emotional. I was it was very strange. It was a frame of mind I never want to embody or endure again, because I think it's a weakness, and I think once again, in no way should we reinforce our character defects and kind of again, it's like we need to draw the best out in each other at every level and surround ourselves with those individuals who care for our own well-being and keep that close to the chest, close to the vest, and if that's not your frame of mind, then get away from me. I've lived too much of my life attempting to restructure my environment to where I feel as if, we're attempting to pursue something that is worthwhile and provides me with a purpose, right? And if you're surrounding yourself with individuals who drag you down, right, who are in any way highlighting or just reinforcing one of those character defects you desperately want to reject and free yourself from, man, eliminate the cancer, and these are just decisions I've had to unfortunately make for my own well-being. But once you make those decisions, you begin to realize what matters most, right? And so again, it's like, I don't know how I ended up here, but at the same time, I just honestly believe that it's important, and it's something that's been eating away at me, because it's another thing that directly affects all of us and our, again, what have we referenced so very often in terms of the ideological subversion taking place and playing out in real time. Demoralization is the first stage. So your environment will always, I believe, have the largest impact and deepest effect, or deepest impact and largest effect on sort of your philosophy in life in general.
It has an effect on everything. Why do you think everything is like brutalist architecture now? Like there's a reason for that. There's a reason why we went from interesting and beautiful buildings now to gray blocks. But they'll say it's because of the money. No, the fuck it's not. It is because it kills our soul. Period. Like It makes us more controllable, makes people have less hope. I mean, if you want to live a life of beauty, you have to be surrounded by beautiful things, and we are clearly not. It is all done on purpose. It's psychological warfare.
Absolutely, dude. I think, yeah, here, I'll play this so we can get it off the screen, though.
Hi, I'm Robert F. Kennedy Jr. You're HHS secretary. Let me ask you something. Should doctors make decisions based upon what's best for their patients or based upon what makes them the most money? It's not a tough question, but we've inherited a healthcare system that constantly pushes doctors toward the latter. It rewards certain treatments, not because they're better for the patient, but because someone profits. Take what happened during COVID. Hospitals were paid to report staff vaccination rates. Those numbers were fed into the National Healthcare Safety Network, then published on the CDC website to shame any hospital that refused.
Holy shit. What just happened, bro? Hold on. I got pulled. That was bullshit.
Dude, if that just got censored in real time, that's going to be crazy.
I know, dude. Wow, that was crazy.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. So in the private chat, I just sent this link to an article from the BBC. So, take it with a grain of salt. But Wikipedia apparently just lost a judgment. They were suing the UK government because the UK government is trying to implement this Online Safety Act, which is all about, please think of the children.
Yeah.
And with Wikipedia losing this, it all, in so many words proves that, for one, this is not about protecting the children. Because Wikipedia was basically claiming that the Online Safety Act would implement certain rules for larger social media companies, which they are included under, which I think is hilarious that Wikipedia is considered a social media, but whatever. I mean, it's all like a third of it is edited by one guy.
Right.
But I mean, nonetheless, like,
wasn't it traced back to a Mossad? There was an intelligence operative that was knowingly as far as there was definitely a footprint and a hidden hand of a Mossad intelligence agent that was deliberately
all over the place. But the one guy who does it, I'll send you an article about him, or actually I think I have a video about him. He's just some guy that lives at home, and he's not anything special other than the fact that he fucking spurgs out on Wikipedia to do everything he possibly can. I don't know how he's tied into anything, honestly, but wouldn't be surprised. However, if you go, because you can go on and see who edits, like all of that information is public, and you can go through and see that the CIA and FBI will update their page all the time. Like, it's clearly them. It's like, so yeah, there's spook traps all over the place on Wikipedia,
100%, buddy.
But the fact that Wikipedia is even trying to argue for free speech, I can't believe I would ever be on their side on this, but hey, whatever.
Right.
We live in a weird timeline right now.
Hell yeah, we do. It's strange times, my friend. That's for damn sure. But yeah, we might as well check that crazy story that I think it was Ryan Christian from The Last American Vagabond that I saw post this article about Ghislaine potentially being cleared, right? To
you
leave.
have it?
Yeah, I have it. Yeah, I'll send it to the chat real quick.
I'm gonna drop that, fellas.
All right, buddy.
All right.
I appreciate you joining, brother. Here, I'll send it to the private chat.
Yeah, I sent.
That's Crabs. Okay.
I sent a video to Jules if we got to talking about Epstein and Maxwell and stuff, because the propaganda about Maxwell is in full fucking swing. It is in full swing.
Dude, I mean, what was the the judge just denying the DOJ bid to unseal Ghislaine's grand jury records, right, in the transcripts?
Why?
She didn't do nothing, dude. She didn't do nothing.
But what they did say, obviously, is that it was only that those transcripts were only discussing strategically, and this was by design. They were obviously only going to discuss the crimes of the indicted, which were only going to apparently extend to Ghislaine and Jeffrey, and no other co-conspirator could even be named or within the context of the discussion. And so the point was allegedly that is the reason why the judge claimed that no one else, according to the DOJ transcripts, right, and the records of the grand jury records, no one else was named as specifically abusing children, right? But that the way that it was presented to the public was clearly underhanded. It was you know, in my mind, it was in order to kind of attempt to, one, at least confirm for certain individuals who would buy the concept that the other co-conspirators weren't involved in the child abuse, but two, is that, you know, they're not even clearly the what I believe to be the deceptive aspect and manipulative aspect of it is withholding the information that clearly that discussion wasn't going to be had in this context. It wasn't legally possible. This is why grand juries, as they've said so very long, are notorious for what is it? They could effectively indict a ham sandwich, they claim.
Right.
And so,
Jules, pull up that video, because this conversation is exactly what that video has to do with.
Do you have that video, or did you just send it again?
Let's see. It is.
I had so many people sending me videos.
No, you're good. You're good.
Free Palestine.
And it's not in the chat anymore. I went all the way to the top, and it's not there.
Weird.
Yeah, it's not in the private chat.
Free Palestine. It's all very strange how it's being handled, though. She tells Todd Blanche, allegedly, she specifically tells him, who he was Trump's attorney, right?
Right. And
she tells Todd Blanche that she specifically didn't ever witness Trump committing any of the abuse, right?
Right.
Oh, that's the Raw Story article about her potential work release, which is so crazy if this is true. Now, the fact that Ryan Christian from The Last American Vagabond tweeted it lends credibility to me, but at the same time, it's like he could very well have just seen this and felt the same way as we all would and posted it. So it could be a complete, a sort of a non-story, but at the same time, just to drive clickbait in a way. But what it does cover is
sent that in the chat, Jules.
Yeah, I got it here. I'll hold on.
Also, so obviously she was just transferred, right, from what was it?
Florida,
she was transferred
Texas.
From Florida to Texas, yeah, and so it turns out she goes to this minimum security prison, which they call Club Fed, right? They call it. She's in an honor dorm as well, which is very interesting. But go ahead, play that.
Yeah, this will blow your mind.
I thought Shy wanted to come on. Shy, I'm about to bring you on for a minute if you still want to come on, homie, because we're still going, and you'll be the last one. What's up, dude?
Hey, what's up, Mark? What's going on, guys?
What's
Caught me watching some animals.
So I think this is
How
the
you guys
video.
doing?
Yep.
Okay.
All is well, brother.
For the prosecution presenting these arguments. And it seems like nobody really has, outside of people in the media who think it's probably a better and sexier story if Bill Clinton and Prince Andrew and, maybe Kevin Spacey or something, Chris Tucker, are involved in some massive trafficking ring. The word ring is always dropped in there too. But as far as I can tell, and I think I'm right about this, that has never been alleged by the government, right? Or by prosecutors, either in 2019 or in 2008.
No, it's never been alleged in any kind of court proceeding that would be attendant to an adversarial process and in a criminal setting. There's been plenty of civil litigation that has at least invoked some of this stuff, but almost all of the civil litigation that did allege a widespread trafficking ring, or sometimes they'll call it an operation or a network, whatever synonym they can conjure up that has the most titillating and nefarious connotations. All of that, virtually all of that, stems from one person, Virginia Giuffre, who people don't want to hear it. People get offended when I say this. People think it's outrageous for her to even be discussed in these terms, but she was a proven serial fabulous. There's no other way to swing it.
Who are these guys?
What does that mean? What's a serial fabulous?
That she's
a fabricator.
That she's making up these allegations. But yeah, I don't know. I'm very interested to know because it seems like Virginia might be one of the only ones that maintained her credibility in my eyes in certain ways. And so I don't know who are these guys as far as like what is your take on their.
So this is the Moynihan, but it's Michael Tracy from Twitter.
Oh wow, okay.
That's who is being interviewed, and Michael Tracy is a piece of shit in my opinion.
Exactly.
Like just a complete piece of shit. And it's just like, because he was also arguing not too long ago about like, oh, why does everyone keep using the word pedophile? Technically, that's not blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, dude, I mean, we don't need to get into that sort of minutia, right? Yeah.
That's not
all
like
wood
some
chippers go
shit,
burr.
Yeah, that is some Nambla shit. Some fucking man boy, fucking
exactly
dead
And so
faggot.
Now he's
Sorry.
on the whole like, he's on the whole like, oh, there never was a trafficking ring. That's a conspiracy theory. And it's like,
Jesus,
dude, what the fuck is wrong? Did you get hit in the head or eat paint chips as a kid? Because holy shit,
Alan
dude.
Dershowitz says the same thing.
Right.
I guess we should just believe him too. That's just like
He also says that he only ever got a massage on his shoulders. So
He had his underwear on. It's safe.
that's right. That's right.
Dershowitz, man. Piece of shit. At the end of that article, by the way, that it talks about this Raw Story article that dropped today, talking about her potentially being cleared to leave prison on work release. Now, it turns out that apparently, and this is, of course, I mentioned the minimum security prison in Texas, but this is strange because what she obviously told Todd Blanche is that she had never witnessed Trump actually doing anything illegal, right? Which that's hilarious. And it's
Well, wait, I
I
think there was a little bit. I don't remember the word illegal. It was something like indecent or something. Like to
You're
her,
right,
like I
there
never
was
said
wiggle
you can
room.
do anything inappropriate. But what's inappropriate to her? Like,
right? Who's procuring?
Obviously, she's okay with a lot of things that most of society would not be.
Yeah. Oh, here it was. No, she straight up, at least according to this, she didn't witness Donald Trump engage in criminal activity or do anything. Here you go, Shyuan, concerning with Epstein. So I'm sure Ghislaine wasn't very concerned throughout that entire process.
Yeah, I bet she was not. I
That's
bet
so
she was
hilarious
not.
to me. But yeah, I honestly I didn't believe how deeply connected the Rothschilds were to protect. Now Maxwell herself claimed to, I think it was Virginia, but it could have been Maria, but I think it was Virginia. In an interview, she discussed this at a deeper level, claiming that Ghislaine herself showed her this rare Peruvian like I forget what exactly it was, but it was like this piece that belonged in the Museum of Fine Arts in the UK and was specifically basically untouchable. And essentially, Robert Maxwell was given this piece, and so she presented it to Virginia in a certain way, as if like, look at the power of my family. And but she did inevitably say that the Rothschilds are essentially the sort of the, I forget the exact term that she utilized, but she basically was saying that there was a sort of a strange dynamic at play between the Maxwell dynasty and the Rothschild family. And right. And that in itself was as if the Maxwells were being protected by the Rothschilds, and that they were engaged in sort of these as far as just these operations that were in the same agenda of achieving the certain goals of this specific banking family. And so I did find it interesting, especially knowing, what happened with the pension funds just before, Robert Maxwell was found dead off the yacht and allegedly fallen off of the yacht, and the Lady Ghislaine, which clearly we all know he was meeting with the Mossad while he's trying to leverage, hey, I'm in debt. Look at everything I've done for you. You need to help me out in this moment of crisis, and or else. And essentially, when he decided he would, this is how it's been at the very least explained and described in terms that I've embraced as potentially being reality, but I'm not quite certain of that.
Wait, so the boat that he died on was called the Lady Ghislaine?
The Lady Ghislaine.
That's symbolic as fuck, dude.
Oh yeah, especially when in like 87 it was that Robert Maxwell hosts a party on his yacht, the Lady Ghislaine, and all of these notable prominent figures are there, and it's very strange that they run this short article, this piece, and I forget which publication, but it has Robert Maxwell's face plastered on the newspaper, and it talks about the Lady Ghislaine and his highfalutin elitist lifestyle, and how he was having all these prominent individuals on the yacht and forcing them to all take their shoes off, and then one of the individuals being Donald Trump, who just so happened in the context, of this article, he's described as measuring yachts with Robert Maxwell.
Fucking cooked, man. That dude is cooked
for real. And it's so much worse than that, man. Like, I didn't realize who basically, I think who Jeffrey Epstein was working for in a certain way. Like, it's very strange because, again, I think there's not only did you have that.
He was a whore. He would work for anyone.
Oh yeah, but I'm just saying that so was Maxwell, dude.
Right.
I think Maxwell was a layered operative. He sort of brought Jeffrey into the fold because he proved to be very useful in terms of the embezzlement of the arms trafficking funds that were being deliberately, ran through this interesting network of how they would then fund these black budget clandestine operations in various industries and
Austin. Even before that, bro, have you seen those pictures of him with like Nancy Reagan and Frank Sinatra and shit? Like, he was like 27 or 28 years old and he was in this shit already. Like, it's fucking nuts.
It's because it's the same exact network that Roy Cohn was running. It's the same thing.
Fuck yeah,
it's the same thing.
Right.
And so Roy Cohn,
has got to be the Trump ring.
Oh yeah.
Because they're his best friends.
It definitely is the Trump ring. And in no way am I questioning that, as far as the reality of that being the case. And
I mean, hey, his first wife used to run girls with Ghislaine.
That's what they say, that she would go hunting for nubiles. Yeah, that's what they claim. Dude? That Ghislaine and her, they would reference it as hunting for nubiles. They would go out and they would just kind of like, there were various schools that they would drive up to and attempt to just lure young girls over to them, and then impress them with certain lavish details of their lavish lifestyles, right? And provide them with like these extraordinary opportunities that were you effectively you couldn't pass up, right? But yeah, I think that when you look far more into Resorts International, I think that is the connection to the Meyer Lansky, criminal syndicate, this organized crime footprint, holding hands with the intelligence apparatus. This is always the case, and this is just another example of that. And again, it's like, why were the Finders and the Epstein network utilizing the same air transport? I'm sorry. It should be very clear and obvious at this point. What are we even talking about? Which, by the way, I pulled it. And one day, I have been planning on discussing this with Jose for months and months. But one day we will finally actually discuss the investigative leads memo that is in the context of the Finders cult, and this is all the investigative leads on Miriam Petty, and basically who's the founder of the Finders. and it's all of his various CIA connections, how he was kind of bathed in
The
in
mayor
these.
of DC.
No,
Marion
no,
Petty?
no. This one was Marion David Petty, who was the basically he was like a chauffeur for General Ira Aker and like various things, but he inevitably, his wife allegedly was CIA, right? But hold on, what's Jose saying in the chat? Epstein's modeling agent said they based their business model off of Trump's modeling agency. Yeah, and you know what? Is
There you
that
go.
Len Forster de Rothschild is involved with a lot of that as well, which is very interesting. The quote was something about how Jeffrey wanted his business like Trump's. That's so funny. And that
He
goes
also
to
said that he would never be charged with sex crimes because he was Donald Trump's friend.
right. And remember that call, right?
What?
Yeah, the call where he describes that Donald as one of his closest and best friends, you know,
Mhm.
clearly, and I
What
don't know why.
list?
Yeah,
What,
I don't know
what
why.
list?
Exactly.
Are you guys still talking about Jeffrey?
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? That's too funny. But I'm telling you right now, man, like this millionaire, Ken Forster's millionaire, this Teterboro airport, these links to Epstein and the intelligence apparatus and community is so ridiculous. And especially if you think about how, again, they're saying that I think it was Simon Dovey, man, from the Eye of the Chicken Hawk. He was claiming that basically it was a month after Len Forster de Rothschild was appointed to Deutsche Bank was when Jeffrey was recruited by Deutsche Bank. And so basically the claim was by him that Evelyn de Rothschild, right? Or no, not Evelyn, Len Forster de Rothschild, Evelyn's wife, was basically really Jeffrey's handler. And that essentially,
Interesting.
yeah, which blew me away, man. Honestly, when you look at exactly her involvement, I had no idea she was involved with Epstein far, before. Essentially, she goes all the way back to providing the direct connection through her brother, who owned and operated this private terminal at the Teterboro airport in New Jersey under this name Millionaire. And that yeah, it's very strange. But this was the travel hub of Jeffrey Epstein's sex trafficking operation, and apparently one of the most utilized air trafficking hubs that he would utilize, as far as the top that he would use within the context of the network. But yeah, anyway, and it goes deeper than that because there's a personal letter between Lynn and Bill Clinton in '95 that mentions Epstein specifically, and so yeah, it makes a lot of sense, and it again reinforces the idea that Alan Dershowitz claims he was introduced to Epstein by Lynn Forster de Rothschild, which is so crazy that statement was made publicly, and he claims that out loud, obviously. And so yeah, that in itself, again, it's very interesting because she was also involved in the year 2000 in the Manhattan townhouse being sold to Epstein for this $8.5 million below market value price, which then Ghislaine would move into and live in shortly after this, and until all the way until like 2015. So I think knowing that these connections exist, I think there's far more to this than just if you're connected back to the Rothschild family in that capacity, right? Then I think there's much more a fire where there's smoke. You know what I mean? And that's at least how I feel. And I think we should kind of pry into that at a deeper level at a certain point, because again, it does seem like, there's it provides another example as to how they were far more connected in with Trump, because, clearly Trump was bailed out by the Rothschild banking family. I mean, that is why he was useful to them in a certain way, right? And his name brand, but it's far more than that. It was because he was stooped in political blackmail and sexual blackmail specifically for years. It's what he knew. He was brought up in it. He understood it. And I think when you know how the power structure functions, you just play your role, and you're rewarded, and you in every way are typically promoted, right? And so once again, Trump is just another sociopathic lizard person, right? Who clearly does not actually have our best interest at heart. And I believe that this always stems back to these dynastic families of powerful influence that seem to have structured modern society in more ways than one, and the Rothschilds
Right.
being one example of that. And if you look at the Pilgrim Society and the Anglo-American establishment and various examples of these fraternal organizations, then it becomes far less conspiratorial and theoretical, and far more realistic and based in factual evidence that provides us with a structure of how we find ourselves in this current moment, right? We didn't we all just woke up in the middle of a movie trying to figure out the plot, but at the same time, this is long standing in terms of the agenda, and you can always keep peeling back the layers to where you can at least cultivate a much more well-rounded understanding of this power structure, and who you can and cannot trust, how you should remain skeptical at all times, and then also realizing that the more you participate in the current structured system, you inherently become subservient to the state. That is the game. And I refuse. I opt out at every level as often as possible. And I just I hope to God that, man, we can only affect others in doing exactly that. That's my only hope. Last kitty finally popped out, my brother.
Hey, Austin, you got a $2
Hell yeah,
you got a $2 Rumble rant from the John Black on Rumble. I don't know how long ago, but it says, as a Bible believing Christian and an anarcho capitalist, I will always support Jose's business of selling slick pussy. Hashtag let Austin cook. Hashtag spaghetti strap jewels.
Wow, that's one of the
Hell
best
yeah.
we've gotten.
Thank
I
you,
love it.
John, for the $2 donation, man. We appreciate
John's
it.
one
That
of my
was
favorites,
awesome.
man. Well, with that, honestly, we have so much more. I basically I could do like 3 more shows because we barely talked about anything, but it's I still
We
think it
talked
was a
about a
good
lot,
show.
though.
Yeah,
We covered a lot.
we did. Yeah, I'm sorry. I think it's mainly that I have like a goal of accomplishing certain things I did want to address, but whenever I don't, I feel like I failed. You know what I mean? But hey, we always
By
have
making
next
it to
week.
the end of the show, you succeeded. And
Absolutely.
I mean, hey, the show made it to the end without getting
bring this
scrubbed.
fucker
or...
on before we get out of here.
Shit.
Let's
Look
bring him
who
on
it
real
is.
fast before we get out of here.
It's been too long, my
I didn't
brother.
see you down there, dude. My bad.
Yeah, I just hopped on. Hey, can y'all hear me?
What's up,
you're
Ray?
good.
We can
What's
hear
up,
you
Ray?
loud and clear.
Because that's crazy. Because I'm in the middle of taking a piss right now. So,
So
let me hop
put the
out.
dick back in your pants, dog.
Yeah, dude, my dick was out. So y'all caught me with my dick out. Literally.
Oh my god.
All right, let me hop out and move back to where I was. But I knew this was gonna happen, but I really had to take a piss. All right, now where was I? All right, but I appreciate you, and then it was great. It's some dumb shit. It's not. I feel like it's pretty important, but it's what I needed to say for the last 2 weeks practically. And I try to keep up. I usually do. So if somebody mentioned it and I missed it, and I, God forbid I have a life. It's crazy because it kind of goes back still, which even is like almost 4 weeks from now, almost a fucking month with the Coldplay shit. But I remember looking into it, and then like the dude from Coldplay, like his great grandfather, William Willett, the lead singer of Coldplay, Chris Martin.
Yeah.
So his great grandfather is like the reason we have fucking daylight savings. Did you?
Bastard.
Have y'all? None of y'all heard, or have any of y'all
No,
heard?
but I hate
of that?
Coldplay even more now.
Yeah, but yeah, obviously, but none of y'all heard that part.
No.
Okay, so his great grandfather William Willett was like a big fucking proponent on shifting the clocks for golf, which also goes into Donald Trump. So he was the reason, I mean, or probably the reason, but you know, one of the bigger parts of the reason. But I'm just gonna go ahead and say, if it wasn't for him, we probably wouldn't have daylight savings. So he was shifting the clocks for golf forward in the spring and back in the fall, so he could do his like tee times and shit.
Interesting. That is so funny.
And that's I mean, like the actual lineage of
daylight savings.
Of daylight savings and of Chris Martin, the dude from Coldplay, the singer, the lead singer. And that's when they did the shit with the cameras, and they're like, oh my god, you know, and they're like sacrificing all the CEOs one by one in a weird way.
Right.
And then it was kind of like, oh shit, you know. At first it was like random, you're like, oh fuck yeah, but then you like it tapped in, and I was like, wait, what the fuck? And then I couldn't remember if it was Coldplay or Radiohead, like as far as like who the singer was. And then slowly and surely it came to me. I was like, dude, I swear it was Coldplay. And I looked into it and I knew it was Coldplay. And his great grandfather is the reason we have fucking daylight savings.
I'm telling you, man.
And it's all for golf, which is crazy. It could be nothing, but also it is very crazy that it's for golf. What fucking Donald Trump's favorite shit to ever do.
That is hilarious.
Yeah, that was
golf
just like
is the stupidest fucking game ever.
I'm afraid to play it because I know I'll get balls deep into it.
Right.
I don't have time to play it.
I don't have time or money to play it, but I'm definitely
honestly
scared to start.
just because it's difficult. Because I've heard this argument. Just because it's difficult doesn't mean we need to do it.
I'll do it. I'll go in there. I'll go crazy on that shit.
It's like
JFK went to the moon because it was difficult, Jacob. We must try and persevere.
But either way, I do appreciate y'all getting me on at least once, and I was I was super late. The last week I fell asleep on my fucking couch. I slept all day. And the week before, Donut was on, and it was like 2:00, and I was at work, so I couldn't get on that one.
Damn it.
Me either.
But I was holding this one in my pocket for a good while, and I was hoping nobody beat me to the juicy part of it.
That's too good.
Well, we
man.
appreciate you coming on, Rage. Shy.
But isn't that crazy?
Your mom.
It's insane how far this shit goes back to, as far as like, oh, the Coldplay guy, oh, the CEO, oh my god, this all crazy. And it's like, yeah, this also has to do with someone with golf and daylight savings. It's like
Jose shouting you out, dude. He says, I love Rage Child.
I love Rage Child.
I love you too, Jose. I'll make you some real tacos. You don't even know what the deal is, man. I'll make some.
It.
I'll spick it up for you.
Educate him, dude. Educate him. Thank you, brother. Honestly, you already know I got nothing but love for you, man.
Oh yeah, no, and vice versa, man. I got nothing but love for y'all. I'm just so happy to hop on real quick. But before that, I missed the entire show, and I fucking hate I did, but I usually don't. But I always
be
check
another
this
one
out.
next week.
Tomorrow at work. I'm gonna watch the whole fucking thing.
Yeah. Go
Unless
ahead,
y'all
brother.
gonna give me some recap in the next before y'all finish up.
Dude, you're
and
good.
I'll give you my piece on anything you have out here.
This is what we should do to end this thing, dude. This is so fucking funny. I saw Sam post this after the announcement about the DOJ grand jury transcripts being released.
And she's in Texas, dude. I'll go find her. I'll piece her out real quick.
I'm still expecting, like Brad said, like which podcast is going to give her
I'll give her conjugal visit.
Oh wow. Hey man, she cleans up nice occasionally, you know. That's all.
Dude,
Dorian Milkers, dude.
It's not.
I'm
not
her
opposed to it. It has to be pretty good,
dude. There's a reason. Honestly, you look at those old videos of her, man.
If she has no bush, I'm gonna walk out. I'm gonna be honest with you.
The way she presents herself, though. It's very interesting. But watch, this is so fucking funny, dude. When Sam posted this, I couldn't help it. So we'll watch this this beautiful this beautiful version of fake news. This is what AI is good for, honestly, even though this is much more.
Well, they should show her tits and the bush, and then I'll agree.
Right. But this is too funny because it's when it came out that what she had told Todd Blanche was basically that, she didn't witness Trump doing anything criminal whatsoever.
President Trump did nothing, at least in my presence, that would be cause for concern. He was always a perfect gentleman, a elegant dancer, a gifted poet. He spoke Cantonese fluently. At one point, he threw a football 300 yards and it somehow boomeranged back to him. I saw a grizzly bear charge him and he delivered such a withering barb that it retreated in shame. One night, Donald performed an emergency tracheotomy on Bill Gates, saving his life. He did a chiropractic adjustment on Stephen Hawking, and Professor Hawking was able to skip all the way home. The point is, the man is a saint, and I would like to not be in prison. President Trump.
There we go.
We
got the breaking news from Ghislaine.
Right.
Everybody.
The worst part is like they would play that and so many people would believe it. Like all the
Yeah, no
MAGA
kidding.
crazy people would be like Cat Turd would be like, of course I saw him fucking fix the alternator on fucking Stephen Hawking's bike. He fixed the alternator belt on Stephen Hawking's bike and he fucking revved up and did a
He's a
fucking
man of the
wheelie on the
people,
sand.
Ray. He's a man of the people. He's hanging out with the help. We just need to all get in line and
Dude,
be
I'm
compliant.
honestly, I've been thinking about sending him a letter to give me a goddamn, what do you call it, where they absolve them of all their crimes and shit.
Yeah, pardon, baby.
I need a fucking pardon. Donald Trump,
Pre-pardon
if you
Ray.
listen to this, I need a fucking pardon.
That's so
Pardon
perfect.
Rage Child.
That's a perfect way to end it, honestly.
Hashtag pardon
Yeah,
the
Dave.
Rage Child.
Every Tuesday at 8:30 Central, man.
Hell yeah. Real Dave 69, show up, brother.
Yeah, we actually found them on Omegle Sunday night during Sunday Chaos, and he's
Hell yeah.
That
based as
shit's still
fuck.
going on, Omegle? Is that how you
Or,
pronounce it?
Fucking Connie does it on Sunday Chaos, but we had Rat go on our homeboy. We do a show every other Sunday.
Is like every third person still a dick?
What do you mean?
'Cause
Oh no, I mean
Omegle.
most of them skip you. You get, but
Yeah,
you'll
there
get
can't be
one
that
person.
many. Who's still on that? Are children still going on that? Because that's crazy.
I don't know. We skip them if they even look possibly young.
Yeah,
I'll
dude.
shave. Would you skip me?
No, oh my God, skip you.
Dude,
I
back
know,
in the
skip.
day, I would hop on and it would just be like skip. It would just be dicks. Just so many dicks.
Yeah, when I got on in high school, there was a lot of penis.
Right. I mean, I
All right,
met some
boys.
cool people too, but
No, but Dave's cool as fuck, man. Shout out Dave.
hell
So
yeah.
what's his penis look like?
Wow. All right, dude.
He didn't show me. I asked, but he didn't show me.
Wow, that's funny.
Omegle just ain't the same then.
It's called OME now, Rage Child. Get with it.
You motherfuckers.
That's good.
All right, boys, let's get out of here, honestly.
Yeah.
Shy, appreciate you, dog. You already know. I'll talk to you in a moment.
Shy, you're a real
Obviously.
one.
Your mom.
Love you guys.
See you in a minute.
Love you too,
Oh.
your mom.
Sorry, didn't mean to.
Free
Hey,
Palestine.
You're
we gotta
a real
let him
one.
say
I'll see you
his-
next time, partner.
Hold up, Rage. We got to let your mom say his final statement. He always says it, Jules. Let
I'm
him do
always
it. What's
ready
up?
for it.
What's up, your mom? You ready?
Free Palestine, brothers. Free Palestine.
Oh, let's go.
Love you, dog.
Let's go.
All right, Rage, do your thing, brother.
Where do I begin? Well, I'm just gonna say I was a little late. I'm gonna listen to all this, but God damn it, you guys knows I'm here all the time. I appreciate everything you guys do. Gray Pill, Jules, you know all that esoteric shit. I'm balls deep into it. God bless you. I love it.
Hell yeah, man.
Rise to Liberty. I do listen to all your stuff, your edits. Thank you for putting me in them. I mean, that's great. And also beyond that, beyond me, God bless you as well. It's always fucking rock solid, dude. And one thing I like to say, Austin, I know you know it. I love you, brother. I love you all. Everything that you all do beyond me. I'm just a fucking fly on the wall. And I like to say we're all rock solid.
Hell yeah, brother. I love you, Rage.
And,
You know
I
that, man.
appreciate
Rage.
being here with y'all and y'all letting me on just for this one little thing. And man, this gives me, I look forward to this shit every week. and every single little piece that we put in together. And I know I sent you a couple things because I'm over here kind of close to San Antonio. Austin, I sent you a couple because they just released. They said they're releasing more files than the Uvalde shooting.
Oh
shit.
yeah, dude, that looked
So
nuts, man.
I'm trying to look more into it as far as like as they release them before. But I just don't know how much they filtered through it before they release it. But
Yeah, I'm gonna take a
they're
look.
going
tomorrow.
crazy over here. They want them to put more out. So
Yeah, I bet. I guarantee you, it's all being manicured and
yeah, we're trying to
strategically
catch
released.
it. I mean, it's like it's so crazy because we talked about it, and today at work, and then I was like, when was that? Like 2 years ago, and it's like shit, like 3 years ago.
Yeah, it's crazy how fast
It's
time's
yeah,
flying.
and it's I'm like, well, they're putting some out, but like at what, what are we gonna get, at
Exactly.
that point?
The
But
slow drip is
yes.
how they kind of,
It is a slow drip.
Yeah.
It's like and on top of all the other crazy, and also in San Antonio, just a side piece. Um, the mayor that they just hired. So I'm a big Spurs fan, and we're here in San, near San Antonio. But like the mayor is like, we're not gonna. So we were trying to do this whole big, Project Marvel to get like a new arena, a new everything downtown. It's a big giant piece for downtown San Antonio to make it way fucking better than it is right now because it's kind of like the arenas are when you go see the Spurs, it's like way the fuck out in the boonies, and then there's nothing to do when you leave. You got to drive all the way back this way. So they're trying to make it like like everything together, like every other downtown arena. And she's like, I don't think we should do that. So there's that whole fiasco going on with that. So all the people in the area are not focusing on, hey, we just released all the videos for Uvalde. It's not like that's the
Right.
least on their worries.
Not a priority.
Everyone's worried about like this new Spurs arena. So it's
Mhm.
the timing is
Man,
kind of
the
crazy again with that.
priorities of the general public, huh?
Yeah, because they're
Real
like, we need
disturbing.
this for San Antonio to survive, and then they're like, we should release the files now. While everyone's focused on that, and the timing of shit is just like always. It's like it's never if everything was a coincidence, then I'd shit an egg right
Yeah.
in 2 minutes, and I'd fucking hatch it, and it'd be everything, all my dreams come true.
A golden
But
egg.
that's not
right?
gonna happen.
Exactly, buddy. All right, Rage, I love you, man. You know that.
Man, I love y'all too, and
brother.
God bless y'all. And shit, I'll see y'all next Tuesday.
Sounds good, brother. God bless you too, man. Later on, Rage.
Well, I was gonna say he can always hang out and hang out with Austin after the show and me sometimes.
Right. Oh, PJR, I love you, dog. I'm sorry I haven't been as engaged with the chat. I definitely was getting better at it when I was doing the morning dump so often because obviously that was one of the, at least it was helping improve with that skill set, obviously. But I'll do a little bit more in terms of just attempting to obviously improve at every level. And I'm also hoping to, again, try and do more streams as well while still balancing the research I'm doing for my solo projects. So that's my goal. I want to get that a little more. Thank you, PJR. I love you, brother, for real. I appreciate you. And and I will definitely keep scheduling people for interviews. I really enjoyed that interview with Brad that I did. And then obviously with Donut, that was so much fun. But I want to do more of what I did with Brad there, just talking about Epstein or a specific subject that we can kind of dig into at a deeper level where I don't feel as schizophrenic, because I'm kind of all over the place on Already Dead because it's just sort of, it's really more a part of the structure of the show itself. I mean, we're the Schizo Bros, right? So it's much more of current events and things of that nature, but also things that cross our radar and just we randomly want to address. So anyway, send me some things if anything crosses in front of your, or at least falls into your algorithm, whatever the case may be. Hit me up and let me know if you'd like us to bring to the table. But beyond that, you guys already know I got nothing but love for all of you, and I love you guys too. And obviously, I mean, Jacob, you can do your plugs, buddy, if you want, and then we'll start gearing on out of here, and then Jules, you do your thing, brother, too. But
okay.
But I do want to say first, though, thank you guys, man. Like, honestly, because just having the ability to, again, I've said this so many different times, but this is something that I value so very much, and that is, as Jose told me when we first kind of met and he was allowing me on his platform, and I was just so very grateful. And it's that law of abundance mentality of rising tide lifts all boats. And I think it's a beautiful concept. And I think what we're attempting to do here with just coming together and in a certain way, it's almost a therapeutic, sort of, it provides this sort of therapeutic avenue in terms of us just coping with the with the strange times that we exist in, and the psyop season we're enduring, and at every level
It's always psyop season, baby.
Exactly,
No kidding.
Always.
and we're just entirely surrounded, right, by this very, I think strategically manufactured manipulation. And so we can take solace in each other's arms in a way, right? Which is hilarious. But again, it's the reason why I'm so very grateful, and I have hope moving forward, and we can pivot out of the black pill into what I view as just the objective pursuit of truth in a beautiful way. So nothing but love for all of you. We could sit here all night, but honestly, I'm tired. Jacob, do your thing, brother. And I missed you, Jose, but looking forward to next week, obviously.
Did miss you, Jose.
Yeah, definitely. Well, first I'd like to say thanks to both of you guys. Thanks to Jose for thinking of having me on. I definitely appreciate any time I can pop in here and add to the show and everything. And, the opportunity to do the edits and stuff, which is an awesome outlet for me and helps everyone else. And you know what? I just love talking shit on the state and all the shitty things that they've done. So I'm going to keep doing it. So the best place you can find me is anywhere Rise to Liberty. I was thinking about changing the name because initially I covered third-party politics, and that shit's fake and gay, but I'm just going to keep the name. It just fits because I still give a shit about liberty, and I think people ultimately should as well, because, what's the opposite? It's slavery.
Absolutely.
And, with that, I do want all of us to rise to liberty, because the name of my show is a call to action, and the whole way to do that is to be able to free yourself, and you can only do that through the pursuit of truth. Luckily, beautiful. I have fine friends like you to kind of piggyback off what you said, Austin, to help kind of cut through some of the bullshit, to be able to see things a little bit more clearly. So it's definitely very helpful to have this community, and I'm glad it's growing. I'm glad there are other people out there that are getting things from it, and just happy to be here. And thanks for having me.
Of course, brother. Jules, my brother, what's up, man?
Guys, y'all go follow Jacob. He's the one. He's the guy who does all our edits now. So glad he could come on. I got to get him on the show.
Some cool shit coming out too. So
fuck yeah,
awesome.
Speaking of edits, that one guy did send us an edit, but we could play that next week. We will play your edit next week. I'm pretty sure Jose will want to see it. But guys, y'all can follow me over on X at greypilledpod. There's an echo on that if I yell too loud. On Instagram, greypilled_podcast, Rumble, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, over on Patreon, patreon.com/greypilledpodcast. We do an esoteric book review every Saturday morning over there. It's pretty dope. You get a free sticker pack, bunch of cool shit. A lot of good stuff happening over there. Also, going on John Lee Chaubeck's podcast tomorrow night. It's Not What You Think. He'll be streaming it on his channel. I will also be streaming it. So I'll post what time tomorrow, sometime during the day. And Sunday, noon Central, I'm having Esoteric Eddie. He will be joining me. So shouts out Eddie. It'd be good having him on again. He just had a baby, so he started to
get back out there and go back on shows. Should be having Isaac Weishaupt on later this month as well. So got a lot of cool things happening in August, September, guys. Go to paranoidamerican.com/discount/graypilled for 10% off. Get you, are you under Illuminati mind control? Handbook, pamphlet.
Those are so cool.
They got an MK Ultra one, a homunculus one. Good shit. It's good shit. And y'all join us every week, 8:30 Central, for the best parapolitical call-in show on the fucking internet.
Hell yeah, brother. You already know I love you, man. And I just like, I mean, clearly, one I will say is I think I'm talking with Doc Brown from Prometheus Lens on Friday. And then I think
Doc's
it's on Doc's awesome, dude.
You also look like him.
Dude,
as well as Donut. You also look like Doc. So
it was crazy. It was like the homies, it was Jacob and the homies from the Cult of Conspiracy. Then it was Doc Brown from Prometheus Lens. Then it was Donut, me, and Paranoid American Thomas, right? Like that was the panel that was on the stage at Bro Grove. I thought it was honestly, it was awesome, but I had no idea
that's
what we were going to
amazing.
talk about.
I'm truly very jealous.
Dude, it was so much fun. And then Sam was like my biggest
been
hype
there.
man the whole weekend. Like, dude, it was crazy. Like when they called me up on the stage, like the loudest person was Sam, dude. It was so fucking cute. But anyway, I love him so much. So, all right, guys, you already know, if anything I've ever done resonates with you, man, the best place to support me is patreon.com/theunderclasspodcast. I at least have the paywalled show with Brad and Sam called Whatever This Is, which I'm sure we'll do another one the next day or two. And yeah, well, maybe I can get through some of the other things I was intending on discussing tonight, but either way, you guys already know I love you and I appreciate you. And Rage, dude, Rage is in the chat still, talking shit, stirring the pot as always, tweaking his nipples. Oh my god. All right, guys, we better get out of here. Nothing but love as always, and we will catch you next Tuesday. Appreciate you.
Peace, everybody.